the second ever live targeting intensive, guys. First of all, thank you so much for joining. And I see we got everyone on here, so that's great. How's everyone doing today? Super excited to get started. I'm just taking a look and making sure everyone is here. And what's up, Logan? How's it going? You guys have the question box in GoToWebinar. That's going to kind of act as the chat box. And I want to make sure that you guys are taking full advantage of that, okay? Rakesh, what's up, man? Nice to see you in here. Obviously, here's how this is going to go down. First 10, 20 minutes, I'm going to teach you the niche interest grouping strategy, okay? And I want to make sure that before we move on to the actual one-on-one targeting, I want to make sure every single person understands the targeting strategy, okay? So we're going to do the strategy. We'll work up to that point. Then I will break for questions just to make sure everyone understands, and then we're going to jump right into the targeting, the one-on-one targeting, okay? So make sure that you post in the comment box right now, or the chat box, post the niche that you want me to work on with you later in this class today. Just post it up there so I have it, so we save time for later on. But I'm going to get started right now. I have this recording. I have two recordings going on just in case one of them breaks, so we definitely have the recording here. And we're going to get started right now. Again, just post your niche up in the question box here, just so we have it saved, because we're going to do the kind of the conceptual talk first, and then we're going to do the actual targeting after. So let me get this thing on the screen here, and this is what we're going to talk about right now, the niche interest grouping strategy, okay? And this is really how I do all my targeting, and how I want you guys to do all of your targeting moving forward, okay? And let me define the interest grouping strategy first, okay? Think about a hierarchy, a different level type setup, okay? And on the top level, you have your niche, okay? And, I see some things like Christianity and entrepreneurship and Buddhism and detox and all these other niches that we're going to focus on, okay? That is your top level category, okay? Your main niche is your top level category, okay? And there's 3 levels. The third level is the actual targetable interest, like the thing that you would type into the Facebook ads box. For example, for cats, maybe it would be a fan page that says, I love cats, right? But what we need to build, and what the interest group strategy is that intermediate level, that second level thing. So on top we have the niche, and on the bottom we have the interest, but in between we have an interest group. And basically an interest group is simply a subcategory within a niche, okay? And this is where that targeting PDF cheat sheet that I was talking about that you guys are all going to get, this is where this really comes into play, and I'm going to bring this up on the screen right now. So you would think that we have, let's just use the cat niche, right? Cats are the overall niche, and then these would be different interest groups that could be branched off of the cat niche. And in fact, I call this the cheat sheet because you're going to be able to build multiple interest groups, and you see 14 different interest groups on the screen here: associations, field of study, brands, equipment, types of niche, events, etc. You'll be able to build a handful of these, as many as possible, hopefully, for each niche. Okay, so this targeting cheat sheet is really going to be a huge asset for you to build out these interest groups for really any niche. Okay, and we're going to build some of them together later on today. So that's what an interest group is. Again, remember, it's basically subcategories of your niche. And if you're in the cat niche, going back to this PDF, basically you go to this PDF and you apply your niche to any of these, and that's what we're going to do later. So coffee, for example, are there magazines about coffee? Are there stores about coffee? Are there celebrities that are involved with coffee? Are there job titles that involve coffee? Are there websites, fan pages, TV, events, etc., right? You're going to ask yourself the question for each of these interest groups. Then we're going to go and basically build those out using a combination of Google and Facebook ads. Okay, and that's what the whole targeting strategy is all about. But we definitely need to think of everything on an interest group level, and that's that secondary level, that intermediate level on the hierarchy. Okay, so what's the process here? The process is there's 4 different steps, and I'm going to go through each of them here. First is identify the interest groups, obviously, and this cheat sheet is going to give you a leg up on your competition in terms of being able to identify interest groups very easily. Here are 14 ones that are pretty much going to apply for any single niche. Okay, not everyone will apply, but you'll find that most of these will. Okay, then we need to build the interest groups. That's actually taking the individual interests, right, and building them out. So again, going back to this PDF, for example, let's say we're going to build the cat magazine interest group. Well, then that's where we'd actually go ahead and find those individual interests, right, those third level of the hierarchy, those actual targetable interests that are inside of Facebook, okay? And don't worry, I'm going to show all this over the shoulder. So we'll build it, then we'll obviously test, and I'll go over a little testing process, and it's very important, I think, to do some very thorough tests, but at the same time, we don't want to be so thorough that we're spending thousands of dollars. So I'm going to outline that, and then, of course, we're going to categorize. It's basically just doing reporting and figuring out what works and what doesn't. So let's start with identifying interest groups, okay? You want to find as many subcategories of your niche as possible, and I stress these are not individual interests, okay? And subcategories are what you're finding here on this PDF cheat sheet. Okay, associations and groups is a subcategory, field of study is a subcategory, brands subcategory, equipment subcategory, etc., etc. These are all subcategories of your niche. So you need to identify as many of those as you can. And when I say as many as you can, there's no number that's too many. Okay, and you really don't want to skimp on this research. Okay, this is going to carry over for the life of your store, and this is not only going to dictate the targeting that you're going to use, it's also going to dictate how many products you could launch per week. Okay, because you're going to want to launch as many products per week as you have interest groups. So the more the better, because we all know the more products you launch, the more likelihood you have of finding a winner. Okay, so this goes hand in hand with that idea of volume. The more interest groups you have, the healthier your store is going to be. And the real goal here with interest groups is to reach a wide variety of potential buyers inside the niche while avoiding any overlapping subjects. Okay, and basically in layman's terms, that means we want to reach as wide of a representation of people as possible. This doesn't mean we want to reach 50 million people, and that would be way too many people to reach at one time in any type of ad, right? But what we want to do is have a wide variety of potential buyers in this niche, and that's why we need to organize into these interest groups. Okay, this is the core of the strategy. The reason that we need to break it down like this, there's a couple different reasons. The most important reason is that this is going to help us test our niche without having to test individual interests, right? There could be 500 to 1,000 individual interests in the cat niche, or in the dog niche, or in the coffee niche, or the mob niche, or in the entrepreneur niche. I'm just yelling out some of the niches that you guys are that we're going to do today. Right? There could be thousands of interests. That means it's going to be thousands of dollars to test. If you group them into very similar groupings, and these are all very similar groupings, right? Anything inside the magazines group, for example, will only contain magazines. Okay, and why is that very important to keep everything similar inside the group? Well, that's going to give you a great representation of people who like magazines in the cat niche. Okay, and all you can do when you're doing interest grouping is basically try to figure out where the buyers are in your niche. Okay, and there's you're either going to do that individually by testing every interest, which would be insanely time consuming and expensive, or you're going to implement this interest grouping strategy, and you're going to be able to get representations of a wide variety of people inside the niche, but you're not going to have to spend thousands of dollars to do it. Okay, and that's the real core of this strategy. Okay, it's all about reaching a wide variety of potential buyers inside the niche and trying to figure out exactly where those buyers are. Okay, so that's step number one. Step number two is when we actually go ahead and build the interest groups. This is what we're going to do together today, and we're going to take the interest groups that we found, and we're actually going to go and add the individual interests to them. Okay, now we're going to aim for 75 to 500,000 in size. Okay, and there's a lot of different waves of thinking in terms of audience sizing for targeting. I like going with a narrow audience of 75 to 500,000, and here's why. I mean, I think this is very common sense. If you can't sell to a narrow audience, right? If you can't sell to the most specific audience, then how are you going to sell to a big, broad audience, right? And again, you're not signing a contract saying I'm only going to advertise to this narrow audience. But when you want to test your niche, especially when you want to figure out where the buyers are coming from, right? If they're not going to come from a narrow audience, they're certainly not going to come from a broad one. Okay, so you always want to go for that 75 to 500,000 testing number, and we're going to absolutely leverage flex targeting to get that number down to size. You're going to find that a lot of times for some of the big healthy niches, like let's say cat magazines, we could have over 1 million people that like different cat magazines. We'll leverage flex targeting, otherwise known as intersecting, otherwise known as narrowing your audience. We'll leverage that tool to get our audiences down to size. And something to really make note of, we're never going to use an individual interest more than once. Okay, so if we're going to use, let's say, Petco for a brand inside the cat niche, then we're not going to use it again for something like a store or a website, right? We're only going to use an individual interest once. Okay, biggest point here with the interest group. Okay, the entire interest group must be super similar. Okay, we're not going to ever contaminate an interest group. So let's say we're building the cat food brands interest group. We're not going to put a cat magazine in there, right? All interest inside the cat magazine interest group must be directly related to cat magazines, not closely related, not somewhat related, not sometimes related, directly related. Okay, so if it's a cat magazine, it falls into that group. If it's not, it doesn't. And this goes back to the idea of needing to find wide representations of buyers in our niche. If we have mixed interest groups, we have no idea what type of representation we're selling to, right? We want to know that if an interest group of the cat magazines works, then we're gonna basically make note of that, and I'm gonna basically talk about bucketing your interest groups into winners and losers. But we want to know what's working and what's not. And if you have a contaminated interest group, you really have no idea if it's cat magazine people that are buying or cat food brand people that are buying. Super simple concept, but very important. Only things that are directly related are going to fall into this interest group. Okay, and I'm going to skip this over the shoulder example because we're going to do 10 of them today. Then we need to test. Okay, this is step number 3. And once interest groups are built, testing can begin. And You guys don't need to worry about taking notes because you're going to get this full recording. But I'm going to show you a couple different strategies, and you're going to really want to pay close attention to these, okay? Now remember, the testing goal is to figure out as much as you can about the niche. And obviously data, pixels, audiences, in terms of building custom audiences, building pixels, getting the data in there, that's very important. But by far, the number one thing that we want to find is where are the buyers inside this niche, okay? Anyone can go in and do the coffee niche or the sports niche or the mom niche, and then they could just target moms or coffee lovers or sports lovers or whatever, right? Very easy to target people broadly, okay? The secret sauce is being able to figure out where the buyers are, okay? That's what we need to figure out. Where are the buyers inside this niche, okay? And do they exist? Well, where do they exist? And how are we going to be able to come back to them later on? Well, that's why everything fits directly into this interest grouping strategy, right? If the interest group of magazines has buyers in it, that's awesome, right? We're going to continue to use that later on, okay? If the interest group of magazines has buyers in it, we're going to use that again later on, okay? If the interest group of cat food brands does not have buyers in it, we're going to pay close attention to that, and we're not going to use that as much as the other ones, right? Where the buyers are, that's where you're going to make all your money. And the quicker you can figure out where the buyers are, that's going to give you a huge leg up on your competition. It's going to give you a huge advantage for the life of your store, okay? Because I've been in the cat niche for almost 3 years now. There's only been maybe 2 or 3 new interests that have come out on the entire Facebook platform. Okay, that means interest groups are finite, right? You need to figure out which ones are working, and then you're going to stick with those. They're going to be the lifeblood of your store for the life of your store. Okay, and there's a massive danger when you're testing. Okay, and you're going to avoid this danger by following my testing strategy that I'm going to lay out here. But if you test blindly, right, without a strategy or goals in mind, basically you're just throwing money at the wall. Okay, and the only time you're going to pay attention is when something works really well, and that's not a good way to test. Okay, if you're only testing and paying attention to winners, then you're failing already, because most of the information that you're going to want to figure out is also going to come from your losing groups as well, right? You don't want to just continue to test blindly and ignore any losing data, right? You need to capture all the data. You need to test as efficiently as possible. I'm going to lay that out in a second, okay? So the testing strategy, there's only one main goal, and that's to learn where buyers are inside your niche, okay? So let's use an example. Let's say the cat niche, okay? I always like using the cat niche because it's my best niche. So we're going to use that as our example. Let's pretend we have 4 different interest groups, okay? And let's just say they're magazine, broad, associations, and field of study, just for simple sake. Okay, these 4 right here. Okay, so you have 4 interest groups that we identified, and we built out individual interests in there. So these interest groups are now ready to be tested in our ads. Okay, here's how we're going to test it, and this is supposed to say 4, not 5. So we want to find the effectiveness of each of the 4 interest groups. Okay, so what we need to do is test each interest group alone in its own ad set. Okay, that's a key. If you want to do any type of split testing or testing, you need to do it on an ad set level, okay? Anytime you split test on an ad level, like let's say you have one campaign with one ad set with 5 ads, those 5 ads will not be shown evenly. You're going to find that one ad will get the majority of the budget. Now, if you have one campaign with 5 ad sets inside the campaign, each of those ad sets will be tested individually. So that's the way that you're going to want to set up most of your tests, okay? And you want to run multiple tests with different product combinations and different interest group combinations. And then you see right under that it says you also want to run multiple tests with different combinations of ad objectives as well, and I'll lay that out in the next slide. And you're going to basically look and see the results. You want to find out which interest groups generate sales, okay? And if you don't generate sales, there's still data in there that you want to see. You want to see which interest groups generates the most engagement and which interest groups gives you the lowest CPM. Okay, so this is a very important slide right here. Pay close attention to this. This is how you're going to lay out your testing strategies, okay? And again, we're in the cat niche. We have 4 interest groups identified, okay? So we have 4 interest groups, and you also see we have 4 products here that we're going to test. And it's pretty straightforward here, right? Basically what we're doing is testing at least 2 combinations of any interest group. So you see over here interest group number 1. Let's just pay attention to this middle column here. Interest group number 1, you see it comes up twice, okay? Interest group number 1 is being promoted with product 1 using a website conversion ad. And interest group number 1 is also being tested with a totally different product using a totally different ad objective, okay? And the goal here is that we want to have different tests to provide more data to make better decisions, okay? We're not just going to say, okay, I'm going to test one product with 10 interest groups only using website conversion. There's a big flaw to that test because you don't know if it's just simply the ad objective that sucks. You don't know if it's the product that sucks, right? As long as we're doing these types of wide tests right here, we're going to have wide representations of data, which is great, right? We're not going to fall into a trap of saying, we're going to basically jump to conclusions just because product 1 is terrible, right? We're only leveraging product 1 with interest group number 1 with website conversion in one scenario. Okay, so you see there's only 8 scenarios here, but we're going to get a ton of data, right? We're going to figure out all about 4 products. We're going to figure out all about 4 interest groups, and we're going to figure all about 2 different ad objectives. And these are my 2 best ad objectives, website conversion and video ads. Okay, so again, this is a super important slide right here. This is how you're going to make up your tests. And like I said from the beginning, we want to test a wide variety of buyers inside this niche. And in this case, we're testing 4 different potential buying groups, right? Interest group 1, 2, 3, and 4. But we're taking that a step further. We're not only testing those groups, we're testing them with 2 different products and 2 different ad objectives. So we can be very confident with the data that we come out of these tests. We're not just doing a random test here. We're doing a very defined, organized test. And the data that we come out, we should have a high level of confidence with. Okay. Some testing guidelines. Okay. Website conversion photo post. That's that 1200 by 1200 image. And video ads, those are my top 2 ads, okay? Bottom line is they may not be the top 2 ads for you. Okay, website conversion probably will be your number 1 ad, but maybe video won't. You want to test other ad objectives as well. For example, clicks to website. Clicks to website would be my 3rd ad objective, and PPE would be my 4th and last ad objective. We're talking about $5 a day for 5 days, okay? And don't cut them early. We need to go all 5 days, and we want to let everything run evenly because we want these to be even tests, okay? You're not going to go and give the website conversion ad only 2 days and the video ad 5 days. That's not a fair apples-to-apples comparison, okay? Then you have cut and scale decisions on the 5th day, and this is very clean and dry, right? You only have 3 scenarios here. If you're profitable, you're going to scale the ad. If you're break even, you're going to continue, and if you're negative, you're going to cut the ad. That's it. There's no other considerations, okay? And there's a huge danger here. Don't get attached to your products just because of engagement, okay? And this is another reason why I hate PPE ads. You get 1,000 likes and 100 comments and 20 shares and 50 hearts and all that great stuff, and you go to your Shopify site and you see 0 sales. Well, that ad did nothing. Okay, engagement is meaningless. The only thing that matters is sales. Okay, so don't get attached to products just because of high engagement. Sales is all that matters. And how many do you want to test? Well, as many interest groups as you can find, and the more the better. If you can find 20 interest groups, then that's awesome. Congratulations, you have a super healthy niche. Okay, my cat niche has 11 interest groups. That's one of my biggest niches. Okay. So last but not least, you need to categorize the interest groups. And what are we looking for during the test? Well, I should put sales on its own line because sales is the only thing that we truly care about. But if we're not getting sales, how else are we going to kind of classify or quantify these interest groups? Well, if it's not going to be sales, we want to find low CPM, okay? And that's cost per 1,000 impressions. That CPM number, if you could find a CPM between $5 and $10, that's a pretty healthy interest group. And if you find interest groups that are under $5, that's really awesome, okay? That's a really powerful one. Now, if you get a CPM of under $5 but no sales, it's still not going to be, it's still not a good interest group compared to even an interest group that has 2 sales and $10 CPM, okay? So again, don't fall in love with any metric except sales, but CPM would be an indication of a good interest group that you'd want to use again later, okay? And what exactly is a winning interest group? Well, an interest group that has generated a sale, and note that I say it's not plural there, just a sale. One sale inside the testing period is a winning interest group, but okay, it's not a multi-million-dollar interest group. It's not going to make you 8 or 9 figures overnight. But what it does tell me is that this is where buyers do exist inside this niche, okay? And that tells you a lot more than you knew before. Because beforehand, let's say you're in the cat niche, you have 25 million people to target, and that's pretty overwhelming. Now, after you do these interest group testing, let's say you wind up with 3 interest groups that have sales, well, then you know you have 3 interest groups of between 75 and 500,000 people that definitely want to buy your product, okay? So that's very powerful. So what do you do next? You're going to categorize your interest groups into winners and losers, okay? Very simple, okay? You're going to put the winners into the winners category and the losers into the losers category. And remember, I told you that interest groups will dictate how many products you could launch per week. So if you have 4 winning interest groups, then every week you're going to launch 4 products, 1 to each interest group. Okay. Now you're also going to use the losers for future testing and scaling. Okay, you're not just going to throw out interest groups because they lost, but you're not going to use them as often as you would the winning ones. Okay, you definitely want to continue to test them because they could turn into winners. They could be winners for some products and losers for some other. But the biggest thing is, again, I told you, interest groups are finite. There's only a certain amount. There's never going to be any more. We can't just throw interest groups away, but we'll definitely rank them lower and use the winners more consistently than the losers. Okay. So that's the entire interest grouping strategy. Let's take a break to do question and answer, or at least I'm going to take a break of talking for a second and see some of the questions that you guys have been posting, and also make sure that you post questions now, because I don't want to move forward into the next part where I'm actually going to do the targeting with you guys without you fully understanding this interest grouping strategy. Okay, so post questions in the question box right now if you have any. If not, we're going to move on. I see some questions right now. Wouldn't flex targeting affect affinity? Well, I think affinity is really, first of all, it's a misleading number. Affinity is it's a very relative number, right? Like you could have an 140 affinity compared to some interest and then a 12 affinity compared to some other. I don't really judge affinity that powerfully. Okay, I don't think affinity is a massive number because, like I said, it's relative. Okay, it's relative to each niche. Now, I also think affinity goes out the window when you're doing intersecting, just because of the way that intersecting is created. Okay, and I guess I could probably be easier to just show an example. But when you start doing intersecting, right, and you start narrowing your audience, what it basically turns into is a Venn diagram, right? Instead of or targeting, it's and targeting. Okay, so what's going to happen there is every time you intersect, you're geometrically increasing the level of confidence and laser targeting of your audience. So intersecting is way, way, way more targeted than any high affinity interest would be ever. Because think about it, on interest, let's say you have two interests, let's say Cat Magazine 1 and Cat Magazine 2. If you then intersect them, you're now saying, I need to show it to people who like both of these magazines, okay? And that's way more powerful than even the highest affinity of a single interest. Okay, and make sure you guys, all right, I'm glad you got that, Rizzy. I'm going to skip some of the questions that don't have anything to do with interest grouping, and we could do question and answer at the end. Would .com be another interest group that we could use? Yeah, absolutely. And you see that over here on the list right here. .coms would probably fall into websites, right? .coms would definitely be another great interest group. During testing, we split each interest group separately into the own ad set or own campaign. Well, most of the time it's going to be one product per campaign. So when you go ahead and do this testing strategy, advertise product 1, well, all of these will actually be separate campaigns, because you also have to have separate campaigns per objective. So in this scenario right here, you'd actually have 8 campaigns, right? Campaign 1, campaign 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, the only time you'd have multiple ad sets inside an existing product is when you start scaling out. But anytime you have different objectives, for example, website conversion and video ads, even though this is the same product, they need to be separate ad objectives. Or I'm sorry, separate campaigns, because they're separate ad objectives. Lately, I can't seem to get any ads relevance score to go above 6. Any suggestions? I would definitely think that you're going to have a much higher relevance score once you implement these interest targeting strategies. Should I use public post on my fan page to advertise? Yeah, doesn't matter. Dark post or not. How many ads to do in the same time? In this scenario right here, you can do up to 8 ads at one time. Okay. I think this would be totally fine. Now, what you could also do is basically put a line right here after this 4th bullet point, and you could do these for 5 days and then do these for 5 days. So you're not overlapping on the targeting. It depends on how fast you want to move. Okay. Once you have all your interest groups organized, do you save the audiences into Facebook? I don't even do the saved audience tool, because it just doesn't work that well. What I'm going to do is and you'll see when I do this. Basically, I'll tell you to take a screenshot of it, or you could even copy and paste it into an Excel document or something like that. But the saved audience function doesn't always work for me, so I haven't really been using it. Also, you're going to find that there's only so many interest groups. You're going to find that you're going to know them by heart after a while. Doesn't showing 2 ads to the same audience make the Facebook ad delivery less effective? I don't believe so, because think about it. You're not the only person showing that ad to that person, okay? And there's always, let's say there's 1 million people in your audience. Not everyone is available at the same time, so you're always going to be showing it to different people, so I'm not really too worried about that. Okay, any other questions on the interest grouping strategy? I want to make sure that everyone understands, and we could definitely do question and answer on other ad types and stuff like that. But in terms of the interest grouping strategy, and for website conversion, definitely always, I always recommend purchase, but you could certainly test that. I haven't found much of a difference between add to cart or purchase. So is everyone pretty confident on the interest grouping strategy? All right, give me an 8 in the chat box if you're pretty confident or you understand this interest grouping strategy, and you're going to understand it much more once we do these over-the-shoulder examples of your guys' niches. But we just want to make sure, and if you guys have any questions about it, this is the time right now, okay? Any other questions about not understanding this interest grouping strategy, now is definitely the time. I don't want to move on until we have everyone understanding. All right, looks like everyone's good here. Save your questions in terms of anything that's outside of this interest grouping. I'll definitely do question and answer at the end. But I want to really focus on the interest group strategy. I mean, this is so important, guys. This is really the, in my opinion, the best way to target the, not only just my opinion, my results speak for it, my students' results speak for it. This is how not only you're going to get effective targeting, you're going to have effective organization and consistency in your business. Because like I said, these interest groups are not going anywhere. Okay, if they work now, the same interest groups that have been great for me 2.5 years ago in the cat niche are still great for me today. Okay, that's the power of finding buyers. Okay. All right, cool. Let me grab a quick drink, and now we're going to actually go ahead and we're going to start. I'm just looking at the registration list. We're going to start with Rakesh. So Rakesh, make sure you put your niche in the chat box up here. I'm not sure if you put it all up there on the top. Yeah, Rakesh, I don't see your niche. So everyone, make sure you post your niche again in the chat box. now, so I have it, so we don't have to spend any time. And Hilltop Apparel, I'm not sure who you are. What's your name? Sorry, I just see your email on here, so I'm not sure who you are. But yes, I'm drinking a protein shake. Oh, Cyril, okay, what's up, man? Cool. So guys, make sure you put your niche in the chat box here, and we're gonna get started in a second. All right. Great. So, starting off with Rakesh, and he wants to do Christianity as his niche. Okay, and that's a great one. Obviously, Christianity. I mean, I don't need to tell anyone how passionate those people are. So that's great. And here's the process for every single niche. Okay, I don't care if it's your whatever niche it is. This is where you're going to start from here on out. You're going to look at this targeting cheat sheet, and this is kind of going to be I think just a massive lifetime asset for you guys. Okay, you're going to come here and you could build any niche off of these 14 interest groups. And I think another thing I should put here in like big capital letters is keep your eyes open. Okay, you're going to see it right now as we go through these interest groups. You're going to find that a lot of the times we're going to figure out more interest groups to build just by keeping our eyes open on the suggestions that Facebook provides. And it's really easy to do this because of Facebook's suggestions. They're so powerful. Okay, and you're going to see that in action right now. I'm just bringing up my ads account. And for any of this research and building of these interest groups, I don't even use Audience Insights. Okay, Audience Insights I don't really like. I like using it to figure out the size of the niche very quickly, but I'm going to always go inside of an actual Facebook ad. Right here, my ads account, I'm just going to click Create Ad, and I'm not even going to pay attention to what I click here. I don't care. I'm just going to basically go to the next section here. I just want to be on this section right here. This is where I'm going to do all of my target in my interest grouping building. Okay, right inside this box. And the reason is, you see right here suggestions, and I was just doing the cow niche. It's got lots of great suggestions in here. So with that being said, we're going to start with the Christianity niche, okay? And this is going to be a great learning opportunity for everyone, whether you care about the Christianity niche or not, because this is the process that we're going to do 10 times over. So we got this going on over here, and we're going to look right over here, Christianity niche. Let's just start right on the top with associations. Are there associations or groups regarding Christianity? I mean, this is an obvious perfect match, right? There are massive groups like that. And also, I think it will be helpful for everyone. Feel free to kind of post in the question box kind of your where you would go as well, right? I want to kind of hear your guys' thinking, what you guys are kind of thinking in your minds in terms of where to go, right? But associations and groups, when I look at that with Christianity, it's an obvious match right off the forefront, because think about all the different megachurches that are out there, right? Or different denominations of Christianity, right? I mean, there could be tons of different ways to classify this in terms of associations and groups, okay? So that's great. Field of study, right? That could work as well, right? There is like the theological field of study, okay? Brands. How about any brands that are related to Christianity, right? And Bible study as well, for sure. There's equipment, not so sure. How about types of niche? And this you replace niche with the actual niche name. So types of Christianity, well, this works perfectly, obviously. I already mentioned that, right? Like different denominations, okay? So that would work perfectly. How about events? I bet you there's definitely big events like conferences, conventions about Christianity, okay? And maybe you don't know what those are, but I guarantee you Google knows what they are, so we'll figure that out. Okay, TV and movies, fan pages, websites, right? Any of these can be great places to start, okay? So let's start with the associations and groups, and remember, keep your eyes open. We're going to leverage 2 web pages here. We're going to leverage Facebook ads, and we're going to leverage Google. Okay, and we're going to just type in Christianity associations. Okay, I mean, this is not rocket science at all. We're just literally going to Google, and we're going to see what comes up. Okay, and I only need a couple of these organizations or associations to start seeding them into Facebook, and we're going to go over here, American Association of Christian Counselors. Okay, I'm going to move this over here, and we're going to see if it comes up here, American Association of, there it is, okay? And we're going to enter it in there. And we're going to go and see if there's any relevant suggestions, okay? And we're going to see some of these things may or may not make sense, okay? But we're going to keep our eyes open as well as we're looking through here. And what do I find here? Well, here's a job title. Okay, so I'm going to open up a little notepad document, and I'm going to put over here minister as a job title. Okay, we're not going to use it right now because we're never going to contaminate our interest group with something else. But like I said, I'm going to keep my eyes open, and I'm going to find out, well, Facebook's telling you right now that they're suggesting another interest group right here. Okay, how about some other things? Christianity Today. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'm not sure what Charisma Magazine is, but I'm thinking that it might be a magazine. So Christianity Today Magazine. Okay, and what was the other one? Charisma Magazine, right? You get the point here. We're keeping our eyes open. We're not building them right now, but we're keeping our eyes open. Okay, we're going to just keep going through here and taking a look at some of the other things that are on here. Now, I don't see any other great suggestions about association, so I'm going back to my Google page, and I'm going to take a look at the next one, okay? National Association of Congregational Christian Churches. Let's try that one, okay? National Association of, what was it? Of Congregational, okay, so it's not on here. How about Christian Association for Psychological Studies? And I'm just taking a look at what's on Google. American Association of Christian Schools. And you can see that not all of these are on here, obviously. So that will tell us that it might not be necessarily a healthy interest group, because I've gone through, and on the first page of Google, so far the only one that has shown up is the first one. Okay, so that tells me that maybe Christianity associations isn't the right way to go, but that's okay. Just during this process, I figured out other interest groups to build. Okay, so, and also going back to this PDF again, I think that associations and groups, in this case, we could also think of mega churches as being groups, right? So again, we can go to Google. Come over here and we type in biggest Christian churches, okay? And we see what comes up, and they got these are some local ones, but you see top 100 churches in America, or largest Christian denominations by number of members. We could take a look at that and kind of see, oh, these are the, okay, so here's another great thing, right? This will be used for the types of niche, right? Here's types of Christianity, okay? So we could even put this onto our document because we want to save this for later on, right? Again, we're keeping our eyes open as we do this research. And I want to see a list of 15 biggest mega churches. Okay, this is perfect. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to start entering in some of these into the interest group. Okay, so Lakewood Church, right? That's Joel Osteen. Obviously, that's really big. We're going to put that in here, Lakewood Church. Okay, and 3.5 million people. We're going to enter it in. Don't worry about the size right now. We're going to get it down. But look what happens automatically, right? Look at all these great suggestions. Okay, more churches. So, and again, we're putting everything similar inside here, okay? And here's something else, okay? Now here is a TV network, okay? Christian Broadcasting Network. Okay, so we had the TV interest group. That could be Christian Broadcasting Network, okay? But we want to go and put in more mega churches in here. And we could put this one in, and this one in, and this one in. Again, it's just giving us more recommendations right now. Okay, we can go back to this list, see what else is in there. Second Baptist Church, let's put that in there. Second Baptist Church, we already have it. North Point Community, do we have that one? Yeah, North Point Community. So you see how great these, you see how great these recommendations are, right? Willow Creek Community Church, we got that in there. So it already found really the biggest ones automatically for us. West Angeles Cathedral, let's add that. We have that. Okay, Saddlebrook Church. Oh, Saddleback, sorry. Okay, and as you enter more, they give you more recommendations. Just scroll through down and see if there's any more. Over here, okay, here's another one. Okay, another one. And any of these recommendations, I don't care what they are, as long as they're similar, I'm going to be using them, okay? So Joe Marr says, would you include all the churches, even though I'm over 2 million people? Yes, absolutely. I want to add every single church that I could find on here that they're suggesting to me, or that I'm finding on this list of big churches, okay? And now small churches that are like 10, 20,000, you know, you don't necessarily have to do that. Okay, those are not going to really affect the numbers. But when we're talking about 250,000 people, that definitely will. Okay, the Village Church, right? So I don't see any other churches on this list. But I did just find another magazine here, right? Relevant magazine. And actually now, keep my eyes open again. Here's another interest group, right? Matt Chandler is a pastor, so this might be under celebrities / pastors. Okay, and Matt Chandler would be one. Okay, so we already have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 interest groups that we can build. And we've only been doing this for a couple minutes, right? This isn't necessarily rocket science, guys. It's just that you need to go and spend the energy and the time to go ahead and do this the right way. So to Joe Marr's question, why would I continue adding if my maximum size is 500,000? Well, this is where I'm going to leverage flex targeting, otherwise known as narrow audience right here, okay? So you press the narrow audience button, then you find the largest interest here in terms of size, okay? And it's this 3 million one, Lakewood Church. So I'm going to remove this from the first box, and I'm going to add it to the second box. And we went from 3.5 million all the way down to 130,000 people. And this is a great audience. And this is to that question about affinity before. This is way better because even if one of these interests had a huge affinity level, this combination is still at a significantly higher affinity than that would ever be, because this audience is now saying, in order for me to show you this ad, you are going to be one out of 130,000 people that like Lakewood Church and like at least one other church. Okay, so this is way more important than any one individual interest, right? This is an intersect saying that these people have to like at least 2 different churches. So that is a great audience. And literally, Rakesh, this is a great audience for you. Here's audience number 1. Okay, so here's your audience of we'll call this mega churches. Okay, this is your mega church interest group. Okay, where would you include Lakewood Church and Joel Osteen? Well, I would put them under 2 separate things. Here's mega churches, and then Joel Osteen I would put as a celebrity, right? Or maybe we're going to call that the pastor interest group. And in fact, let's go ahead and build that next. So what you want to do is either copy and paste this, right, when you build it, but you're going to get this video anyway. But typically what I'll do is copy this, and I'll put it into like a notepad document. Okay, Rakesh says I make this look so easy. I mean, obviously I've done this a few million times, but this concept is not at all challenging, right? This concept is pretty straightforward. Okay, so here's one interest group. Okay, Rakesh, screenshot this or just make note of it in the video. Okay, I'm going to build 2 more for you. Okay, so here's Joe Marr's question about what are you going to do with Joel Osteen? Well, I could absolutely put Joel Osteen in a group of, I guess, mega churches and pastors. But remember, if you can build 100 interest groups, then you should build 100. If you can build 1,000, then you should build 1,000. The more, the better. So if you have any excuse to build separate interest groups, then go ahead and do it. Okay, and pastors and mega churches, they're totally separate in my mind. Okay, so now if Joel Osteen was the only pastor, I wouldn't build a single interest whatever, right? What's this guy's name? Joel Osteen. All right, there we go. Okay, Joel Osteen. Okay. So immediately, Joel Osteen, we're going to build this pastor/celebrity interest group, and I don't know who these people are, but I'm going to go to Google. I actually do know T.D. Jakes is another pastor, so I'm going to add him. But I'm assuming these are all pastors because Facebook does such a great job at what do you call giving these suggestions. Okay, so Joyce Mayer, bet you she's a pastor or something like that. Charismatic author and speaker. So I would put this in there, right? She's a Christianity celebrity. Okay, we're gonna put Joyce Meyer in there. Rick Warren, again, I don't know who this is. Oh man, we gotta do that over. But Rick Warren, not sure who that is. Okay, pastor. Okay, so again, it's not at all rocket science here. Facebook is Facebook's pretty much doing all the work for us. Let me just build this again. Joel Osteen. Okay, and then we're gonna go with all these recommendations. And if you don't know who it is, if you don't know who Billy Graham is, I don't. Just go to Billy Graham and see who it is. Okay, and if it makes sense, if he's inside this group, okay, obviously right here, right, Southern Baptist minister, then that's great. Okay, and again, I'm keeping my eyes open. Southern Baptist, I already had found that other interest group, but this would again tell me about that there's different types of denominations. Okay, you probably already know that if you're inside this niche. But even if you're in a niche that you really don't even know anything about, all you need to do is keep your eyes open. Okay, so Billy Graham, we're going to add him as well, and I'm pretty confident that all these guys that they're putting on here are going to make sense. Okay, so I'm literally adding every single one that I could find. Okay, and if all these guys, and again, just for the sake of time, I'm not going to go with Google on each one of these, but I'm very confident they're putting all great recommendations, and we're at 20 million people. Okay, and if I were to ever tell you to advertise to 20 million people at once, you should ask for a refund immediately, because that would be a horrible strategy. Okay, I'm not telling you to go to 20 million. This is, again, we're going to use the narrow audience or the flex targeting here to get it down to that 75 to 500,000, and the process is find the biggest one. So I saw, okay, Joel Osteen, obviously. Okay, 17 million, taking it out of there. And we went from 20 million, and once we intersect here, 20 million all the way down to 6.9 million. So what does that tell us? We need to intersect again, narrow further. Okay, and the more intersects you have, the more confident you could be with this audience. And I think that we might potentially be able to have 4 intersect levels here. So here's Joyce Mayer at 12.5 million. We're moving her from the box, Joyce Mayer. Okay, and now we're down to 2.9 million. Okay, still too big. We're going to keep looking. And T.D. Jakes, I think, was the next biggest one at 7 million. So I'm going to remove him. Add another intersect here. T.D. Jakes. Okay, and we're at 1.3 million. Still too big. Okay, so this is going to be a super powerful audience for you, Rakesh, right? Because this is going to have a huge intersect level. Rick Warren's the next one. 5 million. I've never even done this. This is actually one of the biggest intersects I've ever done. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so I'm not going to nickel and dime any further here. This is about good enough for me at 580,000, but think about what this audience says. And Rakesh, definitely pay close attention to this audience. It's probably going to be one of your best. Not only, so out of the 580,000 people here, you have to like one pastor, two pastors, three pastors, four pastors. You need to like at least 5 different pastors on Facebook, okay? So this is an unbelievably powerful interest audience for you, Rakesh. Take note of this one for sure, okay? So there you go. That's the celebrity interest group. I'm going to X out of these now. And we'll build one more. And what else do we find here? Job title, right? Okay, job title would be an easy one to do. Job title is actually even too easy. I don't even want to show you on that. So we'll go back to this list of denominations that we found. And again, we may not have even known this existed, but we kept our eyes open as we were building our groups. And you can see all these different things over here: Catholicism, right? And Protestantism, I guess, and different things over here. So we could even search all these different kind of high-level types of Christianity. So let's just start, and we'll go with Catholicism. Okay, let's actually go, we'll go with Catholicism. And we'll see what they recommend. Here's Protestantism. Okay, and here's all these other ones, right? We didn't even know, I mean, maybe you didn't even know these existed, but Facebook does, and they're telling you right here that they're all available for you right now. And you're going to see we obviously have too big of size again. Okay, I'm just adding all of these ones that make sense, okay? Looks like that's it. Okay, and again, we can keep our eyes open here. There's other things here as well, right? How about different churches, right? We had different denominations, but now we also have different churches could be another interest group as well, right? So always keep your eyes open. And we're going to do the intersect here as well. So we're going to find the biggest one. I think it's Catholicism, right? No, it's evangelicism, okay? Okay, and where are we at? 6.8 million, so we're going to keep intersecting down here. Okay. 3.6, right? So you get the point. We're going to continue to put here. I'll put Protestantism down here. 2.2, right? So we're going to have another deep intersect here. Let me just finish this one off. Catholicism. .1, and actually you can just keep intersecting this down, right? And this one went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could have at least 5, probably 6 different intersect levels here. Okay, Rakesh, so you got 3 great interests built for you here. Here's some other ones that you're going to be able to build, again, just by keeping your eyes open, paying attention to the interests that we're actually building. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful for you, Rakesh, and everyone else. And I'm going to move on to the next person on the registration list, and that is Cyril for Hilltop Apparel. And what was the niche that you wanted to do? Buddhism. Okay, Buddhism is an interesting one. And that's obviously another super passionate one, and kind of a good segue from what we just did. And Rakesh, I'm glad you're excited to get started. Definitely go ahead and run with those interest groups and build some more. So on the Buddhism side, let's go back to our cheat sheet. This is where we're going to start every single time. And are there associations and groups about Buddhism? I'd probably guess so, you know. And how about fields of studies? Probably, you know, we could figure that out. Brands, you know, probably along the same line of Christianity, maybe, maybe not. Brands or stores, you know, maybe we might be able to find other stores related to Buddhism. Equipment, probably not. Types of Buddhism, you know, I honestly don't know. We'll figure that out. And same with all of these, okay? And it's pretty much, we could start with whatever one that we think is going to be the easiest to start with, or maybe one that we think we have a little bit of knowledge on, or one I always like to start with is typically groups or magazines, because they're just easiest to find, okay? So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to type in Buddhism magazine, okay? And I'm going to type, I like to start with Buddhism magazine because I think it's easy to pick those out. Okay, and we can see if there are any magazines that are involving Buddhism, okay? And we'll take a look over here, and there's, I guess, some of these, right? Time is not a magazine that we would use just because it has an article about it, but some of these look like they would be kind of related. So we're going to go to Google, and we're just simply going to see if any of these Buddhism magazines exist on Facebook ads, okay? And if they do, we're going to start building the magazine interest group. So I'm just typing in Living Buddhism. Okay, I don't see that. And Buddhism Today. Okay, nothing. Buddhism magazine. Okay, so I don't see any coming up, and that's okay. Not every interest group will work. So we're going to go back to our list if magazines didn't work. How about associations? So we're going to type in, go to Google, and we'll type in Buddhism associations. We can also type in Buddhism groups, and we're going to see what comes up. Okay, so we have some things to start putting in here, okay? Buddhist studies, Buddhist association, more Buddhist associations, Canadian Buddhist, World Fellowship of Buddhists. So it looks like the associations one might be a good one to start with. So I'm going to start seeding Facebook ads with some of these interests. Okay, how about secular Buddhist Association? Okay, nothing. International Association of Buddhist. Okay. Nothing there either. Dharma Drum Buddhists. Dharma Drum Mountain. Okay, there we go. So Dharma Drum Mountain is one. This is an association for Buddhists. And you see that we got some good recommendations down here. And, you know, this is probably a little bit more challenging of a niche to build if you don't kind of know anything about it. So I'm going to leverage Google for some of these things, like Zhu Qi. I have no idea what that is. Okay, we're going to figure it out. Compassion Relief Foundation. Okay, so it's an organization. Okay, great. So we're looking for organizations and associations. So Facebook gave us a great recommendation right there. And how about we type in Fo Gang Shan and see what that is? Okay, and Fo Gang Shan is an international Chinese Buddhist movement. Okay, so great. Another association for this niche. And we're going to do the same thing for all these. Okay, Buddha Memorial Center. I'm not sure what that is. Buddha Memorial Center. Memorial Center is Buddhist culture related. So this is a complex, okay? So this would be an actual location. This might be something like a, you know, I don't think mega churches would be the right word, but something similar to that. So this wouldn't fall into the association group here. Let's try what Yaguando is. So this is another organization or sect. Okay, yeah, so I would put this in here for sure, Yaguando. Okay, so these are basically, we're now building kind of the organization or groupings of Buddhism interest group here. Okay, and obviously we could leave out the ones that are not. Now here you go see just a big word, Buddhism. Okay, this would be actually something, and I would pay attention to this. This would be the broad interest group. Broad interest group is literally just, you know, the 1 or 2 word basic broad interest of that niche. Okay, and we would check that out as another interest group to pay attention to later on. Okay, we're scrolling through here. Here's another one, Buddhist Light International Association. We're looking for association, so we got it right there. Okay, we're going to find some other ones. Buddhist Society. Okay, that definitely works. Buddhist Society, right? Enlightenment in Buddhism. I don't think that's a society, but that's probably like a fan page. Okay, so we might want to put that in there in terms of a list. Young Buddhist Society. Check that out as a fan page. Let's see. Okay, Buddhist Geeks, right? I bet you that's another fan page, and we'll check that out, Buddhist Geeks. So Buddhist Geeks is a website. Okay, so this would fall into like the website category for sure. Okay, Buddhist Geeks. So we're going to take note of that. Okay, Buddhist. This would be a website. Okay, and we're going to see what other things we have here in terms of associations. What other associations do we have? Communities. Okay. And that looks pretty good. Now, we're going to look at the size, and we're a little bit under 75,000, but that's okay. Okay, we're obviously not going to be able to intersect this group. This is a pretty, kind of a smaller interest group, but definitely a healthy one considering we're talking about association. So we've got a pretty narrowed down audience already at 63,000. So this would be a good one to start with. And we built this one kind of just kind of doing a little bit of Googling of this association and groups thing. Okay, so let's try to build another one, and then we'll also leverage some of the things that we paid attention to, we kept our eyes open for. Can you start an interest group of Gautama Buddha? What exactly is that? Let me go to Google. Gautama Buddha. Oh, it is the Buddha. Okay, got it. So let's see what comes up inside here. So if there are a lot of interests just around, it doesn't look like there's that many interests just around this specific name of Buddha. So this would definitely fall into that broad category. Remember with here, these are just basically broad keywords here. They're not very specific. And assuming that, or you basically said that this is the Buddha, this couldn't be any more broad. So I think for the broad interest group, we want to add this. We want to add that, right? I'm not sure what that is. Bod. A person who is able to reach nirvana. Okay, I think that would fall into the broad, right? Looks to be about it. So the broad one is obviously going to be really huge in terms of size. So we need to leverage intersecting here. So we're taking the big one out, Buddhism, and we're going to bring it into the next. Now, a lot of times with the broad niche, you're going to find that it's definitely oversized still, and that's totally okay. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get this down any further. I'll try this one more time. Where is this? Quad. Okay. And 320,000 is pretty damn good for a broad interest group. 320,000. I'm pretty surprised that we're able to get it down this low. So here's a great interest grouping for the broad interest group. Okay, and this is going to be a nice selection of 320,000 people that have to like Buddhism and Buddha and at least one of these other Buddha-related terms. Okay, so very, very powerful two interest groups here on the broad side of things. Let's go back to our little notepad that I was building. See what we got here on the notepad. We did the broad. Okay, we might be able to build societies. We might also build other websites for Buddhist geeks. So let's start building that one. We're just going to seed this with Buddhist geek. Okay, and we're going to hope that other recommended sites come up that are related to Buddhism. So I'm not sure what any of these are, but we could do Buddha's Dharma. Okay, and if these are other kind of like website / community sites, then we would want to go in here. Okay, this doesn't look like this is a website or anything like that. Okay, this could be an interesting one. Shambhala Publications. Okay. So, okay, this is obviously a publishing company, and that could be another type of thing that we would build an interest group off of. TV, movies, books, and we could start with Shambhala Publications. Okay, so again, we're just keeping our eyes open. We're going to be able to build multiple interest groups. We're going to probably end up with at least 5 for this this niche. Seeing what other things we could obviously go into Google Buddha websites, Buddhism websites, and see what comes up here. Tiny Buddha, there you go. Buddha Net, right? We can see if those are up there. The Buddhist Society. We'll see if any of these websites are up there. Okay, nothing there. How about Buddha Net? Okay, Tiny Buddha. Yeah, Tiny Buddha is a big site, right? Buddha Groove might be another site. Actually, it is. I see that right over here. Dharma Shop. Okay. This, again, we're keeping our eyes open. I'm going to Dharma Shop on another screen right now. I'm just taking a look at what it is. Dharma Shop, handmade Tibetan prayer flags. Okay. So if we can build a store interest group, we'd put it in here. Okay. If we can't build a store interest group, then we would add this to the website group. Okay, we're not going to ignore this interest if it's for some reason the only Buddhism store on there, but we'll come back to that. We'll take a look at that as the next one. Any other websites here? Actually, here's another one, right? Buddha Jewelry Organics. That's another store. Okay, so we have two different stores that we can come back to. Any other websites? The Art of Dharma, is that a website? Living Dharma is a website. Okay, it looks like that's it for the websites here. And we're going to want to intersect, obviously take the big one out, Tiny Buddha, take that out. We might not be able to intersect here depending on the size. I think this would work, Tiny Buddha. Okay, so we went from 770,000 down to 84,000. Again, on the lower side, so we have a very narrowed audience there for sure. So there's a third interest group, right? What was the... yeah, we did groups, we did types of, and we did... I'm sorry, we did groups, we did broad, and we did this one. Let me see if I can build the store one real quick. And that was over here. What was the store that we looked at? I forgot. A Dharma Shop. Okay. So Dharma Shop, putting that in there. We're going to see what other stores come up. Okay, we're not going to use Tiny Buddha because we used it before, but here's another one. Okay, and we could check any of these, like Energy Muse Jewelry, right? If that has to do with this, I'm going to go to Google Energy Muse Jewelry. Handmade crystal jewelry. I think that this would be close enough, for sure, in terms of thinking about what types of customers would probably be going to a place like that, right? Blooming Lotus, I think we could do the same thing. Mala Collective, check that out on Google. Yep, same type of thing. So I'm putting that in there as well. Where'd it go? Mala Collective. Okay, and I'm going to do another search on Google Buddhism stores. Okay, I'm just taking a look at this search. And we have Buddha Groove. Do we see Buddha Groove on this list? Yep, right here. And Tibetan Spirit. Do we see that on here? Nope. And then Eye of Buddha. Nope. And Monastery. All right, so I think that's it for the things. And we're at 540,000. I wouldn't even intersect here because we're right at our size here. So there we go. A store interest group. Now here's your fourth interest group for the Buddhism niche. Okay, and I think any of these would be pretty damn good, but I did like the intersected broad one probably as the best one that we've gone over. Okay, so there you go. These could be good, and I think that there are definitely also probably a good amount of Buddhism celebrities as well. I just saw your post there. Buddhism celebrities would be good. You also have these that you can take a look further at. TVs and movies, right? Other societies, okay? We did the broad already. So there you go. Those are 4 different interest groups there. Hopefully that was helpful to you, Cyril. I think this is definitely a super passionate niche, so probably a really good one. Let me close out of some of these windows. Okay. And we're going to continue on here. Okay. What is next on the list? Yeah, you're very welcome, Cyril. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Next on the list is Jomar. Jomar, what... thanks for the crazy 8. What is Jomar's niche? I don't remember what you posted up there. I don't see. What niche did you post, Jomar? Okay. Okay, so Jomar's actually doing Christianity as well. Do you want to do a... I could build more interest groups for that niche, or I could do something else. What do you... what would you prefer in terms of that? I think we already built, what, 3 interest groups on the Christianity side. So maybe you have a secondary niche you want to look at, or we could build more. Let me know. Post in the comment box. I'll come back to that. So Ben is next. Ben, what is your niche? Okay, I see. What do I think is a better choice, camping or homemade craft? I think without a doubt camping is definitely the much, much better niche. I mean, homemade crafts I wouldn't necessarily say is a very defined niche for Facebook ads, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do that. Just seeing. All right, so we're going to do camping. All right, Ben? Sound good? Just give me a quick note in here to make sure that we're good. So we're going to do camping next. And Jamar, let me know what you want to do in terms of more Christianity or another niche. But we're going to do Ben's niche now of camping, okay? And camping is a great niche. Is actually one of the niches that I have a pretty good store at. And we're going to look at that over here. So we're going to come back to our cheat sheet, of course. And we're going to think about, are there associations and groups for camping? I'm sure. Are there fields of studies? I don't know. Brands? I mean, absolutely, right? Brands probably be one of the easier ones to start with. Stores, definitely. Broad, definitely. Magazines, without a doubt. TV, movies, yes. Fan pages, yes. Websites, yes, right? Almost all of these are going to apply for a really healthy niche like camping, okay? So, Ben, we're going to start the camping niche here. And how about we start with camping stores? We'll start with stores because, we've already probably heard of a lot of these brands and a lot of these stores that have to do with camping, okay? Obviously, REI is one of the biggest ones. Adventure 16, Camping World, okay? So we're going to start loading these in, and we're going to see what suggestions come out of it here, okay? So we got, let's see, REI. Okay, REI is a huge one. Okay, he's got 12 million people. And right off the bat, they've given us a lot of different recommendations in terms of outdoor/camping brands. Okay, obviously the North Face. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to remove this. So I'm going to consider REI to be a store, and I'm going to keep store as one interest group, and I'm going to put brands as a separate interest group, because the fact is I want to get as many interest groups as possible, okay? So backcountry.com is a store, okay? Cabela's is a store. Bass Pro Shops is a store, okay? Gander Mountain is a store. Sportsman Warehouse. You get the point here. We're putting stores here. Now, Dick's Sporting Goods, Sports Authority, sure, they're stores. They're not necessarily, stores that are very, very targeted towards camping or outdoors. So I'm going to leave those off the list, okay? So Mossy Oak, this is a brand. Okay, so again, stores are going to be different than brands. REI is a store and a brand, but I'm going to put it into the store here. Okay, and it looks like we got all the other stores. Let's see what Outdoor Channel is. Outdoor Channel TV. Okay, so again, keeping our eyes open, TV and movies, Outdoor Channel. Okay, that's going to be one that we'll come back to. And let's see if there are any other brands that are out here. I'm sorry, we're looking for stores, not brands, right? Patagonia is another brand, so obviously we'll have brands. And we saw North Face, Patagonia, okay? And here's Broad. Actually, you see the Broad right here, camping. It was down here, I believe, camping. Okay, so we have Broad that we could also do later on. Okay, so it looks like we got all the stores here. Now, 14 million, too big, narrow audience, right? I might sound like a broken record here, but this is literally what you're going to do for every single niche. Taking out the biggest interest, and you're going to put it into the next box, going from 12 million down to 1.4 million. So we still got a little bit of room here. What's the next? I think it's, oh no, it's Bass Pro Shops. So we're removing that. Okay, Bass Pro Shops. So we started at 12 million, and now we're down all the way to 560,000. I'm good here. I'm not going to nickel and dime. So this interest group says you need to like Bass Pro Shops and REI and at least one of these other camping store related interests. So you got basically a 3-level intersect here, okay? And this is obviously one that resonates very much so for the camping niche. So this is a great one, okay? And this is pretty straightforward. I mean, I've heard of all these stores. I'm not even into camping. I've heard of all of these, right? And in fact, I use this interest group myself on one of my stores. Okay, so I'm going to close this out. Here's one. Let's go back to that targeting cheat sheet. Okay, and we did stores, right? And at the same time, we were able to very easily pick out brands, so we might as well just go ahead and build that brand as well, right? Remember, we did this little notepad, and we said that North Face and Patagonia were coming up, so let's just put those back in, North Face. Okay, and I bet you Patagonia, there it is, literally the next one, okay? And we'll add some other brands here, okay? Columbia Sportswear, Mountain Hardware, I think we put that as a store. Jack Wolfskin, I don't know what that is, but it sounds like a brand, okay? Jack Wolfskin. Okay, clothing and footwear, outdoor apparel, so we'll put that in there. Marmot, same thing. Black Diamond Equipment, not sure what that is, so we'll figure it out. Black Diamond Equipment. Okay, and we'll see what this is. Climbing, hiking. So here's another brand. Okay. Okay, and Camelback is a brand. I think Osprey is as well. Yep. Okay, and obviously a lot of different outdoor-related brands here. Okay, and Coleman USA is obviously another one. And we can go through all these, see what Low Alpine is. Backpacking Company, outdoor equipment manufacturer. Okay, another brand. Okay, let's see what this Arc'teryx is. Clothing, outdoor clothing brand. Okay, great. And let's take a look at one more, Petzl. Equipment for alpinism and climbing. Great, okay? Another brand. So there we go. And where are we at? 8.1 million. You already know what to do. We're going to find the next biggest audience, and that's the 11 million at North Face. We're moving that here and putting it into this next box. Okay, 8 million all the way down to 1.1 million. Let's find the next biggest one. 2 million at Columbia Sportswear. Okay, and we're down to the size of 160,000 people who like Columbia Sportswear and like North Face and like one of these other outdoor brands. So if my interest was only without intersecting, I wouldn't really have much confidence in it, right? I mean, maybe some random, college girl that doesn't like hiking and never would hike likes North Face, but she's not gonna fall into this audience because here you have to like at least 3 different outdoor brands. Okay, so you have a high level of confidence in this one. Okay, so this is a really powerful interest group in my opinion. Let's build one more for the outdoor niche. Let's go back to our cheat sheet. Okay, and we did, how about fan pages? Okay, fan pages is always a really passionate one. And I always like doing fan pages because it's super easy to do. And I literally just type in the words, I love hunting. Okay, I'm sorry, I love camping. Okay, and you're going to find that there are a ton of different ones just related to fan pages. We're going to start entering these in here, and you're going to see all these recommendations start coming up. Love camping, going fishing, camping, hunting and camping with my family, camping, etc., etc. Right, all these different fan pages that aren't necessarily tied to any brand. Right, there's no brand called I like and go camping and fishing, but these are just fan pages. Okay, let's go camping, love to go camping, right? These are oftentimes going to be pretty small in size, so you're going to want to add a lot of these, okay? And I don't see any reason why we couldn't add all of these, okay? Now, Camping Life Magazine, we're not going to add, right? Obviously, we're not going to add Camping Life Magazine, but we are going to add it to our list here because magazines, Camping Life Magazine, okay? And in fact, I see another interest right over here, types of camping, okay? Backpacking camping, okay? So types of camping. You could use this as well. Okay, camping with family, camping with friends and family. These are just fan pages. Okay. Okay. Here might be another store. I'm sorry, not store, but a website. Okay. Camping Rock. So you could have stores, you could have brands, and then you could have websites. Like this will be a community website, like Go Camping America. They're not selling anything, just like a community website. And definitely a really nice one. Camping.info, same thing. Okay. See if there are any other fan pages that are related to that. Camping on the beach, I'll put that in there. You could try other spellings as well, like love camping, love camp, okay, like camp, camping fans, right? Camping fanatics, all these different types of keywords that you could try to find in here. We have 200,000 here. Again, I told you there are going to be a lot of small interests put together, so that's fine. 200,000 inside our 75 to 500,000 sweet spot. Here's another great camping interest group, and this interest group is the fan page interest group. And remember, we also found TV and movies, brands, stores, broad, magazine, and types of camping, again, just by keeping our eyes open. Okay? So those are 3 powerful examples for the camping interest group. Jomar, I'm still not sure what you want to do, so post a comment in here. I have many interest groups built out. My biggest concern was reducing the audience size. I'm not sure what to do with 50 pastors. Yeah, so anytime you have a large interest group, okay, and so let's just do like you saw what that I did with the types of Christianity, right, Jomar? So we had types of Christianity, and all we did, we had them all in one group at first, but all we did was create new. Let me just kind of recreate this for you. So we have all these interests in here, something like 20 million people or something crazy, right? All we need to do is continue to build at every intersect level. Let me just start from scratch. We're just going to narrow audience and remove one interest from here, okay, and bring it down into here. And typically the easiest way is to find the biggest interest in size and remove it from this box and simply add it to the next box. This is flex targeting or intersecting, okay? So you want to do Christianity musicians, and we could definitely do the same thing, like Christian rock or something like that. You would easily be able to break down any large number, but remember that anything inside an interest group is always going to be similar, right? We're not going to put Christian rock in here. We're not going to put, Joel Osteen in here because they're not directly related. Okay, but breaking it down in terms of intersecting and stuff, very easy. So if you have a list of 50 pastors, you'd add them all, every single one here, okay? You would add literally every single one into this first box, and then one by one, you would start removing, and you do this in order of biggest. You'd remove the biggest one from this first box, and you'd simply add it to the next box. Then you'd go ahead and press narrow further. You'd find the next biggest one here, remove it from this box, and add it to this other box, okay? And you're going to continue to do this until you get down to size. Okay, Jamar, does that make sense for you? Okay, perfect. Yeah, honestly, it's a very simple concept. It's just putting them all in the first box and then removing them one by one. And I mean, if you have 50 different or 75 different Christian rock musicians, then you're definitely going to be able to continue to go here. I'm just putting anything in here just to show you that you can continue to intersect. I don't believe there's a limit. I've never seen a limit. Okay, I mean, you could just keep going. Okay, if you were able to intersect this deep, you're going to have an incredibly powerful audience. Okay, obviously this is random. I'm putting golf stuff in here, but you can have as many intersects as you want. Okay, and if you have a 75-person interest group, that'd be great. Would you break down musicians into genres or list them all? Are you talking about Christianity, like Christian rock or something like that, or are you talking about a different niche? Yeah. So anytime you have an excuse to make another interest group, that would be great. Now, I don't know how you can break them down into genres. I guess there's different genres of Christian rock or Christian musicians. If you can create multiple interest groups, I absolutely would. Okay, an example of that would be, you just saw me build the fan page interest group. Typically, I'll have a fan page interest group, like let's say for the cat niche, for example, I have 2 fan page interest groups. I have one strictly with the words love in them. So like any fan page that says love cats or I love cats or I love to have cats or whatever, I have an interest group literally called the love fan pages. And then I have a second interest group called basically everything else fan pages. Okay. And sure, I could have put them all into one interest group. But again, the more interest groups you have, the better and bigger your store can get. Okay, you have more products to launch, you have more things to scale to, you have more potential buyers to reach. So if you can break down your musician interest group into multiple groupings, that makes sense. Okay, they have to make sense. You're not just going to break them down randomly. But if it does make sense, then you could do that. And he says hip hop, rap, contemporary. I mean, if there is Christian hip hop and Christian rap and Christian contemporary, then yeah, and Jomar says there is, then absolutely. Okay, so you have a basically a Christian hip hop interest group, and you also have a Christian rap interest group, and you also have a Christian contemporary interest group. That is going to be super powerful for you because instead of just having one music interest group, you now have three. Okay, and again, I'm saying the same thing over and over, but it's totally true. If you have more interest groups, you have bigger upside on your store. So anytime you can make more, you want to. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense for you. Let me go down on the list here. Rizzy81, you're next. Is it one interest group per ad set? Per ad, yes. One interest group per ad set always, okay? Now you might have multiple ad sets in your campaign, but it's always going to be one interest group to one ad. Rizzy, what is your niche? I don't remember what you posted up here. Okay, cell phone cases. Okay, so this is a bit of an interesting one. So far up until now, we've had all passion-related interests, okay? And I'm not going to try to dissuade you away from doing cell phone cases. I actually have a coaching student that's doing pretty well with one of those special cell phone cases. But you're going to have to definitely do a bit more of traditional marketing research, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, it's probably a good thing. You're going to understand more about your customers. But we're not going to come on here, and I'm never going to come on here and actually go ahead and target the very broad word cell phone, okay? Or cell phone case, whatever, cell phone case, okay? I mean, first of all, nothing even comes on here. But I don't want to do, even if I was able to find just the term phone case, I wouldn't want to do that, okay? People aren't typically going to be passionate about a phone case. And obviously everything on Facebook involves passion, at least on the Facebook ad side. So what we need to do is basically find an intermediary, kind of what I was telling you at the beginning about the hierarchy. You're actually going to have 4-level hierarchy. And on the top level, it's going to be cell phone case, which is your product. And on the bottom level, it's still going to be the individual interest that we're going to enter into here. But now we need to find something before we find interest groups. And that is basically we need to find, or we need to define marketing profiles of your customers. So your product is cell phone case, but your niche is undefined at this point. We need to figure out who is potentially going to buy your cell phone case, okay? So that's where you do a little bit of marketing 101, right? You build customer profiles, and we could even leverage this kind of interest group to kind of help us figure that out, okay? What type of associations or groups would people who want to buy cell phone cases fall into, okay? And this is where you see it's a little bit more challenging than doing a typical passion-based interest, okay? What association or group might they fall into? I'm not sure, okay? What field of study might they fall into? What brands would they like? Okay, brands would be an easy one to start with, okay? Obviously, brands, we can go for not only competing brands, but we could also go to complementary brands in terms of other type of technological brands, okay? Now, equipment, I think, would be an interesting one here. Equipment would be more like, I think, and this is a kind of an interesting case, this would be more about device use, right? What equipment do they already have? For example, you have an iPhone case. You want to go in here and you go under the you go under the behaviors, right? And you can go here to mobile device user, and you can actually come right into here and go into mobile devices by brand or operating system. Typically, you just come right into here, right? And you can go here and select all of the iPhone users that you would want. So here's a very basic interest group for you. This would just be the massive interest of iPhone users. Okay, and this is a no-brainer, obviously, in terms of doing iPhone cases. You'd want to go here. Now, you're going to see that we're at 75 million people. Okay, so with 75 million people, that's way too big. But there's no way to intersect this down. We're talking about individual users of these iPhones. So, in fact, your kind of secondary level, right? If you want to call it your niche, this is kind of your, and obviously you could also do the same for the Samsung styles or whatever other phone cases you do. But this is going to be considered your base niche, okay? This is where you're going to start for all of your interest targeting. This isn't going to be your final targeting, but this is what you're going to base off all your targeting. And this could also be replaced or duplicated for anything involving Samsung, Galaxy S or whatever, right? Depending on whatever product types you're going to have. So here would be your base audience. And now what we want to do is intersect on top of that some of that marketing stuff that we're going to figure out. Okay, so what other brands might people like that would be closely connected to phone cases? Okay, what other fan pages might they like? What other websites might they like? What other stores might they like? What other magazines might they like? Okay, so we could do a lot of these different things. Let's start with brands. Okay, now we can think of 2 different types of brands. We can think of just phone case brands. So let's literally type in phone case, and we can see all these different phone case brands. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and start building the phone case interest group. Okay, I'm going to literally add all of these iPhone or any type of brand iPhones. Okay, and actually I'm going to remove this because this seems to be again, keeping your eyes open, 2 different things here. We have a brand and we have a store. So let's remove the brands for now. Okay, we'll come over here. Whoops, I gotta close that. We're gonna come with brands, brands and stores. Okay. And we're gonna remove this Lovo thing. And we're gonna come over here. We're gonna continue to build stores. Okay, so we got case sender shop. We have cell phone cases. Okay, here is actually another. This could even be a fan page, right? Okay, any other stores? This looks like to be a brand, right? Okay, here's a gadget store. Looking for more stores here. Okay. And here could be a broad one right here. Here's a broad audience, right? Mobile phone accessories. So we have broad. Mobile phone accessories. Okay. So we're going to look for other cell phone accessory stores. And what are we going to find here? So I think things like Best Buy and Amazon and Staples, too broad, right? We don't really necessarily want to go with that. We want to find stores that are very specific to cell phone accessories or cell phone cases. So how about Cellular Outfitter? Okay, not coming up. Okay, looking at some other stores here. Empire Case. Okay, nothing. Wireless Emporium. Okay, nothing. So I'm not finding even enough for cell phone case stores. That's okay. We're going to go and look for something else. We'll go for the brands, okay? So cell phone brands we'll definitely be able to put. So this will be more about the competitors' cell phone case brands, okay? And you mentioned OtterBox, right? We're going to be able to type in OtterBox and probably have some good recommendations coming on right afterwards, okay? LifeProof, Casemate, Spec, Mophie, Castify. We're not going to put in the stores, right? See what Tech21 is. Tech21, discover unique protection for mobile devices, so more cases there. Okay, Tech21. And we're going to see if there are any other brands here. No other case brands here, but I did think of another one when I just went through here. Belkin. Okay, so Belkin is another technological brand, right? There might be some brands that are outside of actual cases that would still be relevant. So I think this would be, and again, this is the challenge that you're going to find by not having a passion-based niche. We need to basically find things that are what we think are potential customers. What else might they like? So non-related case or non-case related case-related brands, i.e. Belkin. Okay, so other tech-related brands. But it looks like we have all of the case brands here, and we're at 1.6 million people. So we need to do a further intersect, and what we're going to do is take the biggest one here, and that's Casemate. Remove that here and add it into the next box, Casemate, and we're down into 120,000. So what we have here is 120,000 people who, first of all, have an iPhone. Okay, that's the important part. We're pre-qualifying all these people. They have an iPhone already. And now we're intersecting them with at least 2 different brands of cases. Okay, this is going to be a really great one for sure. And Rizzy says Peel is another one. Let's see if Peel comes up. Unless it's the Peel. No, it doesn't look like Peel is available on here. Maybe it's a little bit too small in terms of that. Okay, so this is a good one, and this is probably your most directly related one, obviously. And what you'd also want to do is remove all these and see if if you're also going to be able to have the exact same interest, but with a different device. Right now, you're going to be able to use Samsung and go over here and do Galaxy, whatever the Galaxies are. I don't even know. But you're going to check out all these boxes for Galaxy phones to make sure that they have all whatever phones that you're leveraging. And then the cool thing about this is that if it works probably for iPhone, it's probably a good chance it's going to work for Galaxy as well. So I'm adding these over here. 36,000, 40,000 people, so we might want to remove this intersect because there's probably more iPhone users than anything else. But once we add this back in, 560,000. So you have a nice, you have a disadvantage and an advantage. Okay, disadvantage is there's no direct passion, but a big advantage is that if you find one interest group, you basically get to double it automatically because you're going to have a whole interest group for iPhone and a whole interest group for Galaxy. To be honest, I'm not so sure if there's any other phone brands that are worth selling, but you could definitely experiment. Okay, so there's one interest group. Now, coming back over here, taking a look at what we found, right? We did brands as well, that we found that. We did that. Stores we weren't really able to find. How about broad? Okay, we could try the broad. Mobile phone accessories here. What about magazines and this type of thing, like Mashable and The Verge? I think, you're going to absolutely want to test those. But I would like to find things that are more directly related, right? When you go in the magazine side of things, and I definitely think Mashable and those tech-related blogs would be great. My kind of issue with that is, a lot of people with iPhones like those brands. I'd like to give you something a little bit more precise than that, okay? And that's what I think we're going to, again, that's the total challenge that you're finding there. I think it's definitely an absolutely great interest group to build, the magazine one, but, I think it's going to be a little bit less, just kind of a little bit less defined, okay? So let's go ahead and build this broad one, okay? And again, your base audience is always going to be these mobile device users, whether it's going to be iPhone or Samsung or any other manufacturer that you think is worthwhile. I'm not sure if there are any. So we're going to start over here, and we're going to build the broad one. Okay, I'm just putting these all in here. And we're going to do the broad one where we saw mobile, what was it called? Mobile phone accessories. Okay, mobile phone accessories. Okay, we'll see if they give anything else. Mobile accessories, iPhone accessories, that's a good one. Okay, so let's add these two. Anything else very related to that? Okay, this gives me another idea. Okay, so coming back over here, we have fan pages, right? Now, I don't think there's going to be a fan page. I would be very surprised if there was a fan page that says, I love phone cases, but there are definitely iPhone fan pages, and at the same time, there's also Samsung fan pages, okay? Or Galaxy fan pages, right? So that's going to be another one, another good one to do. And again, you need to basically figure out who is your customer, right? And if your customer loves iPhones, like they like different iPhone-related fan pages, and they own an iPhone, then there's probably a pretty good chance that they could be a potential customer of yours, okay? So in this case, we don't need to intersect at all. We're at 110,000. People that like these different broad interests combined with the iPhone thing here, and we're going to also do the exact same thing with the Samsung, right? You'd probably be able to build two interest groups. Anytime you have an interest group, you basically have two, okay? And let's do that other one that I found. Let's do fan pages. You can just type in love iPhone. Okay, and obviously you're not going to want to do, and this is funny, that's I love phone covers, but I really don't think that's going to be a good one. Let's see any, okay, iPhone fans, okay, iPhone lovers, okay, iPhone fans, circle of iPhone lovers, right? These are huge niches. Now, obviously, you're not going to put iPhone lovers with Samsung, but this interest group would be the exact same thing if you had it for the other place, okay? And here's another interesting one, okay? Another one to take note of. How about phone-related news sites / blogs, or we could even call this brand / phone-related blogs, right? There's tons of sites on Apple lovers, right? There, this one specifically is about iPhone news, right? There's going to be tons of different Apple-related fanboy sites, right? Those would work as well, kind of similar to this. So instead of the fan page group, you'd have like the community or website group, okay? But here's one. Again, I don't see any other fan pages. We could type in love iPhone, love Apple iPhone. Okay, I don't see anything else. So this is a great interest group as well. You don't need to intersect it at all. We're right here at 250,000. 250,000 people own an iPhone and like an iPhone lover page, okay? I mean, this is another great interest group for you, and I would do this. Now, Rizzy says, would you do Apple fan sites over Mashable? I would, okay? Because I think that Mashable is just too broad, and in fact, I think Mashable is too broad in general. I would go for more gadget-related blogs than Mashable, just because Mashable is so big. Okay, I think like going with things like The Verge and Mashable would be kind of the equivalent as going for things like, Time Magazine and stuff like that. It's just a little bit too broad. I think magazines would work, but I would go for as closely related to the phone as possible. And I think there's definitely other magazine choices that are much closer to that. But here's 3 interest groups for you, effectively 6 interest groups for you, because you're going to be able to swap this out every single time. So hopefully this was helpful for you, Rizzy. Let me know if you have any other questions on this for sure. Okay, great. One more question. Do you ever include the buyer behavior? No, and never. Okay, and the only time I ever even go on the behaviors is for these this right here. All this other stuff, it's awful. Okay, I don't like using any of this stuff. This is third-party data. I think I might even say over here. Whatever. But yeah, I don't really like this. I definitely don't like doing any of this purchase behavior. Okay, I think it just never really worked. A lot of other people have said the same thing. I haven't spoken to one person that has found any success using any of these behaviors except this right here. Okay, the mobile device user, because this isn't even really a behavior. This is just data. This works for sure. Yes, this absolutely works for sure. Okay, cool. So we're going up the list now, and we got Mikey. Mikey, I don't remember what niche you wanted to do, so post it in here. Yeah, Rizzy, you're very welcome. Glad you found it helpful. What niche is it? Mom niche. Okay, great. This is a great niche. Mom niche, super passionate niche, and we're going to go to our cheat sheet to start. Okay, so mom niche, we're going to be able to find a lot of different things here. I'm going to tell you things, obviously, we could throw out field of study and job title. It's probably not going to really work. But we're definitely going to be able to find broad interests. We're going to be able to find stores that are related. We're going to be able to find celebrities. We're going to be able to find fan pages. Maybe even be able to find events. So let's get started, and we'll just jump into any one of these. Let's start with magazines. I'm not sure if there are any, but we can find mom magazines. Okay. Mom magazines, mom groups, mom associations, mom events. Just typing in all these different things. We'll see what comes up here. Okay, and we're going to come over here, and we're going to take a look at all these different magazines. Okay, and we're going to literally just type these in. Now, obviously, with moms, right, there's some special targeting that we could do. We could do women, right? But what I think would be very good to you, and this is very similar to the iPhone example that we just previously did, go under Browse, Demographics, Parents, Moms, and then check off all these moms. Okay, this is going to be basically your base audience that you're going to intersect and add interest off of this. Okay, I think this is going to be way too big in terms of advertising just to this niche, because we have what, 29 million moms. Okay, and we could actually even go over here. You could do a Demographics, Parents, Moms. You could also go Demographics, Parents, Parents, All, and then set it to women. Okay, that's going to give you 57 million. So I would go with this one. It's a little bit bigger. Okay, 57 million people are parents and are women, which effectively mean 57 million people are moms. So we're going to start with this as our base audience, and we're going to start to add mom magazines here. Okay, and I'm finding these over here. We got Parenting, Working Mom, so we'll do Parenting Magazine, and we're going to see all these recommendations right off the bat. Okay, and again, we're going to keep our eyes open. Okay, Smart Parenting is a magazine. Motherhood is a magazine. Oh no, it's not. It's a interest. Okay, we don't want that. Parents is the magazine. Practical Parenting magazine. Natural Parenting. Parenting Special Needs magazine. Okay. So keeping our eyes open, parenting.com. Let's take a look at what that is. Okay, maybe this is going to be an online blog / community site. It looks like it is, right? Actually, no. This is Parents Magazine. It shows that. So this is basically the same thing, or no? Parenting Magazine. Let's see. No, it's a different website. Okay, so there's parents.com and parenting.com. So parenting.com, keeping our eyes open. We have this over here. Parenting.com for websites. And I see that they say we don't have the mom option on Facebook UK. Well, you probably have the parents option for sure then. Then you can do the parents and just set it to women like I'm doing here. See if we missed any magazines here. Smart Parenting Magazine. My Child Magazine. Looks like we got that. Let's check what Essential Kids is. Essential Kids, Practical Advice. This is a community site for parents. Okay, so here's another one. Essential Kids would fall under parenting. I'm sorry, websites. Okay, Essential Kids. But we got all the magazines listed here. We're at 2 million, so we know what to do here. We're going to intersect. Finding the next biggest interest magazine, 7.5 million looks to be that number. Okay, 7.5, Parenting Magazine. Okay, so we're down into 550,000. This is good enough for me, right around that 500,000 sweet spot. And here is a great interest. First of all, the base interest is only people who are parents and are female, so only moms. And now we're basically saying moms that like at least 2 parenting magazines. So if you think that, Marketing 101, matching your product up to the customer, if you think that your potential customer would be a mom that likes multiple mom magazines, well, here you go right now. Here's 550,000 of them that would be worth targeting. Okay. So remember, we kept our eyes open as we were doing this targeting, so let's go ahead and build that other one. Oops. And that is the websites. Okay, so we got parenting.com. And we're going to see what else comes up. We had essential parents as well, or essential kids. And let's see what else comes up. Mouths of Mums. Let's see what that is. Mouths of Mums. Product reviews. I guess this is basically a community website, right? I don't think product reviews would be enough on its own to be, an interest group. So we'll add Mouth of Mums over here. Okay, let's see what the organized housewife is. Tips, ideas, inspiration. So another community site. Okay, this is great. Mom's Lounge, same thing, right? Essential Baby, same thing. Mom's Grapevine, I'm not sure what that is. Saving busy mom's time and money. Okay, another type thing. Okay, Mom's Grapevine. Stay-at-home mom. I don't think so. Blog. Okay, so another community site. Let's take, what is this? The smart parenting. Okay, another one. And how about Parenting Nation? And here's another one. Great. So it looks like we got all of the things here. Let's check out one more. Proud Parents. Proud Parents, Funny Pictures, community site. Okay, cool. Great. So we're at what, 600, 720,000. So we're going to want to intersect one level probably, finding the biggest one here, which is Babyology. Okay, and this actually brought us down too small, so I'm going to put this back in here. Now, here's a good example. Do we want to intersect to be too small, or do we not want to intersect and be too big? Well, under 50,000 is a bit too small for me. So in this specific case, I'm not going to intersect any further. I already have the intersect off of the moms. I'm not going to do any further levels of intersecting here because I don't want to get too small, okay? So here's the second interest group for you in terms of the moms for the mom website group. Okay, and we'll go back to our cheat sheet here. Okay, we did stores, right? We did websites. How about we do fan pages? Okay, and we can literally start typing in our little thing like love mom. So how about this? Moms plus kids equals love. Let's do this. Love mom. I love being a mom. I love being a mom. I love being mommy. My kids are my life, right? These are all great fan pages here. And actually, because we have so many, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to actually create multiple interest groups for fan pages. So I'm going to only do anything that has the word love, or this heart, right? Anything involving love my kids or love being a mom will be one interest group. And then another fan page interest group will be any fan page that doesn't involve love. Okay, so this one doesn't involve love. Love, my kids are my life doesn't involve love. So I'm going to take out anything that doesn't involve love just for the excuse of having more interest groups, okay? I love being a mother. I love my kids. I hurt my kids. I love playing with my kids, blah, 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 right? See if there are any other love. I love my daughters. I love my son. Okay, and all these other fan pages definitely are similar, but again, we're using this as an excuse just to create another interest group because there are so many here, and this is obviously too big, so we need to find a big one. It looks like I love my son is the biggest one. Oh, no, I heart being a mom. So we put that in here. Okay, 1.1 million down to 250,000. Great. So this is another great intersect. Here we have two different levels of intersect. First being the parents, second being these interests. So you need to be a female parent, okay, you need to be a mom, and you need to like at least 2 fan pages involving love moms. Okay, so this is a great one. a third interest group for you. And in fact, you could easily build a fourth interest group just building any of these other fan pages. And here's one that I missed. Oh, no, this is the one that we intersected right now. So we need to put all these other interest groups, like my daughter is my life, fans of being a mom, my children mean everything to me. This would be a second fan page interest group. Okay. Mike says, how would you do types of moms? In this case, I wouldn't, okay? Because the way that you have types of moms set up, it's not really intersectable over here under the demographics. So types of moms really wouldn't work. I think TV and movie shows about moms or parenting would work, right? Fan pages we built 2, websites we built. Celebrities, there could be celebrities that really are kind of involved in the mom and children space. Stores, we could definitely do like baby stores and all that kind of great stuff. How about new moms or single moms? You could target those inside of the demographics, but I don't think the demographics would be targeted enough. They'd be too big, right? If you're going to do any of these demographics in here, demographics and then parents and then moms, even this one alone, just one of them, we're talking about 12 million people. So it's a bit too big. So for the demographics, we'd only want to use it to basically be a pre-qualifier for the rest of the interests that we're going to enter in there. But new moms and stay-at-home moms and all these other moms can be found directly in here, right? Stay-at-home moms, new moms, right? We're going to check all those boxes off to be our base audience. But I'd rather start with the parents, all parents, and then here, because it's just a bigger number. It's a bigger number to start with. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense, Mike, and these are some great interest groups for you to start with. Okay, the icon status. I'm not sure who that is. Are you in here? Who's the icon status? I forgot. I'm not sure who you are. Post your niche over here. I'll skip you for now. So, yeah, you're very welcome. Steve is in here. Steve, what is the niche that you are running on? Let's see. I don't think you posted that up earlier. Yeah, I don't see it. Oh, nursing. Okay, great. So the nursing niche, this is a really, really healthy niche. One of my biggest stores is a nursing store. And we're going to be able to build pretty much everything on this list in terms of nursing, okay? Associations and groups, definitely the most powerful interest group inside the nursing niche is the associations and groups one. Field of study for sure, brands, not so much. Equipment, somewhat. Types of nurses, absolutely. Events, yes. TV and movies, kind of. Fan pages, definitely. Websites, definitely. Job titles, definitely. Magazines, without a doubt. Broad, without a doubt. So let's get started and build the nurse niche. And let's use the first interest group right here. First on the list. Associations and groups, okay? So we're going to come over here, and we're going to type in nurse associations. Gosh. Okay. Nurse associations. And here's some big ones right here. So we got American Nurses Association. Let's populate this first one with American Nurses Association. Okay, we got 1 million, and as soon as we have that, we have other associations coming up as well, okay? National Nurses, California Nurses, Minnesota, Association of Perioperative, Tennessee. Okay, keeping our eyes open, right? Here what we have right now, we have fan page, we have website, right? We have fan page right here, I love being a nurse. We have nurse.com. Okay, we have types of, right? ICU nurse. Okay. And here's some more associations. We're going to add all of these relative or related associations. Okay, here's more types of, right? Emergency room nurse. Critical care. Okay, here's another website, rnrounds.com. Society of Trauma Nurses, and here's another type of nurse, right? I don't see any other associations, it looks like. Okay, so we got all the associations, 2.2 million, so we're going to intersect, finding the biggest one. And that is the American Nurses Association. We're moving that from the first box. Adding it down here, and we're at 330,000. Great, so we're right inside that sweet spot, 75 to 500,000. And this is a great interest group, and let me tell you, Steve, this is the most powerful interest group inside the nurses niche, okay? So there you go, you got one interest group right there. Now remember, we kept our eyes open, so it's going to be very easy for us to build more. Going back to my notepad document, we had websites, right? So let's go over here and we'll build, I think it was nurse.org, right? Or what was it, nurse? Well, we found over here, an American Nurses Association. Just want to find that record. Oh, here it is, nurse.com. Okay, and here we go. All nurses, right? About nursetogether.com, QD Nurses, Nurse Rounds, okay, RNpedia, Travel Nursing. All of these are nursing websites, and we haven't even gone to Google yet. We're just keeping our eyes open and finding it. Now, I'm not sure what Funny Nurses are. We'll figure that out right now. Funny Nurses. Funny Nurses is a fan page, okay? So there you go, fan pages. Funny Nurses, I love being a nurse, okay? So we're going to continue on for more nurse websites, seeing anything over here. Okay, we're not going to do American Nurses Association. We've already done it, okay? How about the staff nurse? Okay, another fan page. Okay, and nurseconnect.com, there's another website. Okay, that looks like that's about it for the websites. So 820,000, we're going to try to intersect one, taking the biggest one out of here, which is nurse.com. So we'll remove that, see if we can intersect over here. So we're at 700,000 down to 84,000. There we go. We're right inside that 75 to 500,000 sweet spot. And these are people who like at least 2 different nurse interest groups on Facebook. Okay, so that's very powerful. I'm sorry, 2 different nurse websites on Facebook. So this is definitely a powerful one, Steve. Let's build one more for you. Okay, again, we kept our eyes open, so we can build types of nurse. We can also build fan pages. Let's go ahead and build fan pages. So we can do Funny Nurses to start. Funny Nurses, and here's some more fan pages, right? I love being a nurse. Then a staff nurse. Those are the ones that we had previously found on our document here, right? And what other fan pages are they going to recommend to us? Now in the suggestions, we got Mighty Nurse. Okay, here's one for magazines, right? We just identified another one, right? We have magazines. Scrubs magazine. Okay. Okay, Nurse Together, Nurse Rounds. Right? We use those for websites already. International Nurses Day. Here you go for an event. Okay. So we got more interest groups that you could build further. And now let's start doing some searches like Love Nurse. Or I love being a nurse. See if there's any other pages. Nurse, love, nurse. How about this for a TV show, right? Nurse Jackie. Okay. And here's all the job titles. We haven't even talked about job titles. That's another great interest group. It looks like that's it for the nurse fan pages. And we're at 1 million here. So we're going to want to intersect, taking the biggest one out and moving it into the next box, Funny Nurse. So we're at over 1 million. Now we're down to 330,000. Here's another great intersect. Only one level of intersect, but that's okay. People have to like at least 2 nurse pages on Facebook. Funny Nurses and at least one of these other ones. So there's a third interest group. This will be very helpful. I usually find too many groups to advertise. Yeah, you could leverage down to any group if you have a lot of them, and nurse is definitely a big, healthy niche. You're going to be able to narrow that down. Let me show you one more real quick because this is another easy one. Browse, demographics, where is it? Work, job titles, okay, and literally just type in the word nurse, and you're going to find all these nurses as well, okay, and there's different spellings and different representations of nursing. For example, you'd want to also type in registered nurse, okay, but look at all these people that are nurses now. You're hitting all of these people who have all self-declared in their Facebook job profile, 570,000 people that put in their profile that they're a nurse. Okay, so job title, if you could hit the job title in your niche, that's always a very, very, very laser targeted interest group because these people are literally self-declaring on their Facebook profile that they are nurses. Okay, Steve, so those are 4 interest groups for you. Hopefully they're very helpful. And I think you could run with any 4 of those and have some good tests. Okay, the next one on the list. Yep, you're very welcome. Let me take a quick look at something really quick. Okay, cool. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me a little 30-second break. Okay, guys, we're back. Very cool stuff, Logan. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So next up on the list is Max. Okay, Max, what niche are we doing for you? It looks like you want to do detox. Is that right? In terms of the 4 products for testing, do you recommend shirts with 4 different designs? Yeah, 4 totally different designs. Okay, 4 different products. So if you're doing T-shirts, 4 different T-shirt designs. Okay, so Max, do you want to do detox? Tell me a little bit more about what you're trying to sell specifically for the detox niche. Is it more like fitness or what? Okay, detox teas, got it, and fitness equipment. Okay, so I guess overall you could be in the fitness niche then, considering I guess people who are buying detox products would be into the the fitness / supplement niche. So again, this is going to be one that you need to do a little bit extra research, or a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more challenging, just because you don't have that direct passion connection. Now you could probably kind of fake the connection a little bit with the fitness side of things, because people are definitely passionate about that. So I think that will be the way that we would want to go. Now, it says play on the lose weight and get healthy factor. Now, you want to definitely be careful with that. Facebook does not like a lot of advertising about supplements or about weight loss, before and after type stuff. So you need to be extra careful on your advertising. But in terms of getting started, it's going to be the exact same way. So we're looking at our cheat sheet here, okay, and we're going to think about basically people who are, again, this isn't a direct passion, so we need to think a little bit more about marketing profiles. Who are the people that are buying detox teas and or supplements? Well, it's probably people that are into fitness. More specifically, they're probably very into fitness. If they're doing more than just exercising, they're also taking supplements on it. So we could think of a kind of a target customer profile as someone who is pretty into fitness, okay, and probably on the detox side, like you were saying, women. We could assume that it's going to be women, but that's not going to help us much in terms of our targeting. We need to find some sort of passion association there, okay? So what we can do is start off and think about fitness and or supplements, and obviously that's a massive niche. In fact, there's 120 million people in the fitness niche every month on Facebook. So we're going to have a wide variety of people to target. And let's get started. I think the most direct way when you're dealing with a very specific product like this is go after brands of competing factors. And we can take a look in Facebook and see if there are literally any other detox brands, but we're also going to leverage Google for that. Detox brands. Okay, so we're going to try to build the brands interest group for this niche, and we're going to literally type in over here and just see if there's anything that comes up for detox tea. Okay, and we got a couple. We have one tea detox. We'll see what comes up here. Okay, so there's definitely I think we could definitely have, and I think this would be a kind of a cool way to go around, and maybe an interest group that we would have could be all about detoxing. Okay, so that's going to be people that are into detoxing for sure. So we can go over here and add any type of detox related interest in here and building a detox interest group. Now again, this isn't going to be a direct passion. We don't have any direct passion to hit on, so we need to kind of be a little bit more creative with our interest groups. So let's build a detox interest group right here, and then literally, well, this would be broad, right? Detoxification would be broad, so let's make a note of that. Okay, we got broad detoxification. Okay, and skinny me tea. Detox, here's another broad, right? Your tea. Well, your tea doesn't say anything about detox, so I'm going to keep that out. I'm going to keep this one out too. I'm going to keep this one because it does, I guess the name is referring to detox. Lemon detox. The detoxanista. Okay, that's definitely going to be one relative to detox. Here's detox the world. Detox, but I'm going to remove that one. That one doesn't really work. Okay, and there's another one, green matcha tea. Okay, there's another detox. Detoxify bar, detox shop, great. Any other detox related things? That looks like it's it. Okay, so we got 270,000 just on the detox related interest group, okay? And I don't see anything apart from the broad. Let me see, detoxing Detoxification. Okay. So we got 270,000 inside our sweet spot of 75 to 500,000. So we are good here. And this represents the entire detoxification, apart from the broad, all the detox related interests. Okay. So this is one way, obviously, one type of customer of yours might be someone that is very into detoxing, and obviously they're going to be found liking a detox related page on Facebook. Okay. So this will be a representation of people that might like detoxing. And if you think Marketing 101, matching your product up to the right customer, if you think that right customer might be someone that likes detox products, then this is a great interest group to test. Okay, let's go along those same lines. What other things might people like that are potentially going to buy your products? Okay, and let's think more about the fitness side of things. And I think that again, this might not be direct correlation to a detox, but how about other supplement brands? I think other supplement brands would be good, because if you're someone that likes multiple supplement brands on Facebook, then you're obviously going to be someone that is probably a customer of supplements, and this is definitely going to fall under that category as well. So we're going to go to Google, and we'll type in fitness supplement brands, and we're just going to find the most popular ones. Let's go top 50 best-selling brands. Okay, and we can take a look at these, and we can literally start typing in some of these onto Google. And these are more fitness related than detox or anything like that. But the thing is, especially if you're also trying to sell fitness equipment, this would also work for that niche very well, because people that are going to buy supplements or fitness equipment are definitely going to also like multiple other fitness brands. Okay, you're not just going to buy. Your typical customer is likely not going to be a first-time supplement buyer, right? So this obviously makes sense in terms of Marketing 101 to show it to other brands. So I'm going to start typing in some of these brands here. And actually, I had it on women over here. You could put it, if you think that your product is only going to go to women, you could do here. I would probably recommend just doing both until you have some real hard data. But if it is like a product like Detox Tea, it's probably going to be fine to just do women, okay? So Optimum Nutrition. Okay, and here we go with all the recommendations: Muscle Tech, Muscle Farm, BSN, Cellucor. I'm not going to put bodybuilding.com, but that will give me another idea, right? How about, so we have supplement brands and supplement stores, okay? So BPI, Dymatize, Nutrex. So here you see, okay, that was Gaspari, sorry about that. RSP, Extend, USP. These are all brands, right? Gaspari, Blackstone, Beast. So you're going to put in all the brands in here. Okay, Nutrition Depot we're not putting in. That's a store. Okay, Gaspari, Cytosport. Okay, and maybe here's another one. Fitness celebrities, right? So that could be another interest group. And Scivation and Swole. Do we have everything here? Animal Pack. That's it. It looks like that's all the brands. Universal Nutrition. Okay, cool. So we got brands here, and we have 630,000. We can try to intersect one level, find the biggest one out of here, and take it out. We got 2 million on Muscle Tech, 2.8 million on Optimum. So we'll take that out and move that over here. And we're down to 52,000. So I'm going to remove that, put that back in the box, and this is another one of those cases where intersecting would bring us down too small. So I'm adding that back in. And we have 630,000. Here's an interest group, a second interest group for you. This is all on supplement brands, okay? Supplement brands, secondary interest group. I think another interest group that you could potentially build would be tea brands, okay? Now, it's not going to be anything about detox, but you might be able to hit on the angle of people who already like tea, right? We can go into Google and type in tea brands, and we'd be able to build an interest group off of these big tea brands. Again, they might not necessarily have anything to do with detoxing, but if you think that people who like tea may be potential customers for you, then this would be another good interest group to build. But let me build a different one for you. How about we build yeah, actually, let's go ahead and build that tea brand. I think that would be an interesting one to build. So we'll start adding these in: Tetley, Yorkshire Tea. Okay, and here comes the recommendations: Bigelow, Twinings, the Republic of Tea, Tazo. All of these brands, right? All these tea brands would make sense. Here's another one. Types of tea, right? Green tea is not necessarily a brand. It's just a type of tea, so you can build that as well. Okay, looks like we got all of the tea brands here. I'm not sure what Bewley's is. Let's take a look at that real quick. So there's a cafe. Okay. So it looks like we got all the brands. We obviously need to intersect. We're way too big here, 1.9 million. Finding the biggest size, we got 1.5 million. Yeah, 1.5 million down here at Twinnings. Now we're down to, oh wow, 9,000. That's way too small. That's odd. Let's find the next biggest one. Try if we could do that. Tetley. So too small again. So it looks like these are not going to be intersecting, and that's okay. This is a great example to show you guys then. Now, what do we do with this group if it's too big and we can't intersect it down to any size? Do we eliminate it completely, or are we going to use it? Well, I never want to eliminate any interest groups because, like I said at the beginning, there's only a finite number of interest groups, okay? So we're not going to do that, but we're going to definitely kind of understand that this is probably one of our less powerful interest groups because of the fact that we don't have any intersecting here. So this would probably be at the bottom of my list to test, but absolutely would still get tested no matter what. Max says, in England, people start fights over their teas. I believe that. I definitely believe it. So another interest group that you could build off of this, like I said, fitness celebrities, supplement stores, even broad, right? We built the supplements one. We did the detox one. And here was the tea brands one. So those are 3 good interest groups, and some more that you can build right over here on this list as well. So you should end up with at least 5, maybe 6 interest groups for this tea niche. And don't forget to go over all 14 of these as well. There might be tea magazines. There's definitely tea fan pages as well, especially for all those people over in England that absolutely love it. So it should be a pretty healthy niche for you there. You just need to really figure out who your customer is. That's your challenge because you're not dealing with a niche. You're dealing more with an individual product. So you'll figure out who your customer is through this testing strategy. Max says also gyms and yoga. Absolutely. People that like yoga could potentially like tea. Again, not the most direct connection, but a pretty good one. Okay, UK food. Who is UK food? That's Ram, right? I'm pretty sure that's yeah. Okay, Ram. What was the niche that we were doing with you? I don't remember. Coffee, right? I think it was coffee that we're doing. Yes. Okay, coffee. Coffee's a good one. Coffee's a frustrating one for me. I thought I had some really good. I started off really good with coffee, and then I kind of didn't give it the. I guess I didn't give it enough attention, but it did start off good for me. It kind of ended up not as good, but I think it's definitely a passionate niche, and one that you're going to find a lot of engagement around. Okay, so let's go to our cheat sheet, and we have our different things here. Associations and groups for coffee, maybe. Field of study, no. Brands, absolutely. Okay, we're going to be able to find brands, and we're absolutely also going to be able to find stores. Okay, equipment, we might be able to find equipment. Types of coffee, absolutely. Right, there's like cappuccino, espresso, whatever. Events, not really. TV and movies, no. Fan pages, absolutely. Web pages, yes. Job titles, not really. Celebrities, yes and no. There are some celebrities that are closely connected. Magazines as well, broad, yeah, for sure. So let's get started, and let's build the ones that are going to be easiest for us to start, and that's going to be brands and stores, and then we'll keep our eyes open for the recommendations off of those. So let's obviously go with stores. We can all name multiple coffee stores, and let's start with Starbucks, okay? So we're going to put in Starbucks, and it's a massive interest, okay? And other stores are going to pop up immediately. Caribou, Pete's, Seattle's Best, Tully's, Coffee Beanery. Now, Keurig is not a store, right? Keurig is more of a brand. So we'll save that for brands. Remember, we're going to save that onto our list. So Keurig. Also things like Maxwell House, Folgers, etc. Cool. Any other coffee stores on this list? Coffee Bean. Okay. Now, what about Lavazza? So Lavazza is, again, a coffee brand, not necessarily a store. Okay, so here we go. We got stores here. We got 11 million people, so we're going to have plenty of room to intersect. And we're taking the biggest one out, which is obviously Starbucks. Taking that out of the first box and adding it into the next. Okay, we went from 11 million down to 1.9 million. Let's intersect again, finding the next biggest one, which is 2.3 million, the Coffee Bean. And we're down to 220,000, so perfect. Now, you're going to be selling coffee-related products on your coffee store, Now you're going to be able to target it to 1 out of 220,000 people that like the coffee bean and Starbucks and at least one other brand, right? This isn't just a casual coffee person. This isn't just someone who liked Starbucks because they wanted to enter a contest or something. These people are obviously hardcore coffee lovers. They like 3 different coffee stores on Facebook. Okay? You're not going to randomly like 3 different coffee stores. You're liking 3 different coffee stores because you truly like coffee. Okay? So we got that. Here's one interest group. Let's build a directly related one. And again, we kept our eyes open and we saw coffee brands. Okay, and we saw Keurig up here. Okay, Keurig. Keurig Green Mountain, might as well put that. Now, Keurig Coffee Maker, that's equipment. Okay, we may be able to do equipment for that. Let me do Keurig Coffee Maker. Okay, well, let's keep going in terms of brands, right? Folgers. Now, we're not going to use Starbucks here. We're not going to use Seattle's Best because we already used that for stores. Okay, but Maxwell House we're going to use. Okay, here's the broad interest, just coffee. Okay, Lavazza, we saw that before. That's a brand, so we're going to be using that. Nespresso's a brand. Nescafe brand, right? See any other brands here? Stumptown Coffee Roasters brand. Okay, here's a type of, right? Remember I told you types of. We have iced coffee. Types of niche. Iced, cappuccino, espresso, etc. Looking for any other brands here. Here's another brand. Looks like that's it for the brands, right? Did we miss any brands here? Cappuccino, right? Another type of. 4 Barrel Coffee. I think Illy Coffee. Yeah, Illy Coffee is also one. Blue Bottle Coffee Company, another brand. Okay, Specialty Coffee, another type of, right? Okay, so we're really building these as we go on. Here's another brand. And here's an equipment, right? Coffee maker. Chemex Coffee Maker. Okay, so it looks like we got all of the coffee brands here. Plenty of room to intersect again, so we're going to find the biggest one. Got 6 million on Keurig. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not right. Got 11 million on Nespresso. Okay, we're down to 560,000. Again, I'm not going to nickel and dime. We're right around there. So I'm going to go with this interest group. Here's your second interest group for the coffee niche. This is brands, okay? Brands of coffee types. Okay, not stores, but brands. And how about we build the types of? Now, we saw cappuccino. Okay, and here's all these other ones. Again, we don't need to figure this out. It's just going to tell us right there for us. Frappuccino, Frappy, Cafe Americano, Mochaccino, Macchiato, Turkish coffee. That looks like that's about it. Specialty coffee. Okay, great. So that looks like we got all of the different types of coffee. Obviously, again, 8 million, plenty of room to intersect, finding the biggest one. Espresso is probably the biggest at 21 million, yep. So we got espresso here. Okay, we dropped our audience size to 1.5 million. Let's find the next biggest one. Cappuccino at 15 million. $1.5 million all the way down to 220,000. So there we go. And again, this is not a casual coffee liker. This is someone that likes 3 different types of coffee on Facebook. Okay, this is not just someone randomly. This is someone that is going to make up a great representation of the types of coffee interest group. And again, first thing that I said here, the goal is to have wide representations of different buyers in this niche. These 220,000 people are perfect representations of this variety of coffee lover, being someone who likes types of coffee because they like 3 different types. Okay, so there you go. There's a third interest group for the coffee niche. And I think any of those 3 would be really great. Don't forget also the ones that we talked about in terms of keeping our eyes open. Types of equipment, brands, stores, other things that are going to work on here. Fan pages will definitely work. Okay. Maybe associations and groups, not so sure. Broad, you could always build broad, right? And celebrities as well. There might be some celebrities that are involved there, okay? So I would stay away from job titles. Like, I don't think anyone who works at Starbucks is really super passionate about coffee. They're just probably in there for a paycheck. So I think those would be the interest groups that you could end up with, and you're going to find a lot of engagement on this one for sure. Okay, Ram, so hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. And last but not least is Logan. So Logan, what is your niche? So Ram says 3 different interest groups, 3 different ad sets, 3 different products. you'd want to use different ads because you'd want to have one ad for each product. Okay, so Logan is doing entrepreneurs, okay? And this is obviously a passionate niche. And I think, what is that website called? Startup Minds or something like that? Startup Junkie or something? I forgot what it was called. Startup T-shirts. Obviously, Startup Drugs, right? Everyone wants to copy this website. I don't think they're even doing that well, but they pretend to be. But we have this. And the entrepreneur niche, very, very easy to target, in my opinion, because we're all present online and specifically on Facebook, and there's a lot of us on there. So we're going to be able to find a lot of interest there. And we can start over here. And this is going to be very straightforward, right? We have magazines, definitely going to work. Associations will work as well. Field of study will definitely work in terms of entrepreneurship. Brands, somewhat. There's going to be, magazines and brands will probably kind of transcend each other. Types of entrepreneurs, maybe. Events, absolutely. TV and movies, absolutely. Right? Fan pages for sure. Websites for sure. Job titles, yes. Celebrities, yes, in terms of famous entrepreneurs. So let's start with magazines, okay? And we need to think about what magazines would entrepreneurs like, and obviously they're going to like Entrepreneur Magazine, but there's other magazines as well that they're like. So we'll type in Entrepreneur Magazine. And, of course, we have Entrepreneur Magazine. So we'll put that in here. Entrepreneur Magazine, and right immediately it's going to give us other magazines that are very related to Entrepreneur Magazine, for example, Inc. and Fast Company and Fortune and Harvard Business Review, Bloomberg, Forbes we can count as a magazine or a website. In this case, we're going to put it in the magazine section. Business Insider, Wall Street Journal will fall into that, Economist, Financial Times, right? New York Times I'm not going to put in there, okay? TechCrunch I'm going to put as the website, okay? Because TechCrunch does not have a printed magazine, but all these other places, Business Insider shouldn't be in here either, but all these other places have printed magazines, okay? So Money Magazine as well, okay? Now here's a couple other ones, right? TechCrunch, VentureBeat, Mashable, these are going to be the online magazines. So we could have online magazines. We could also have print magazines, okay? This would be, like I said, TechCrunch, Mashable, VentureBeat, okay? So in terms of, and here's something else, Startup Weekend. That's an event, okay? So events, Startup Weekend. What else can we just pick out just from looking? Here's another magazine. 500 Startups. That is basically a group or association. 500 Startups. Here's that broad, right? All thing entrepreneurship, just broad. Okay, so there's going to be plenty of things for us to do here. 7.3 million magazines, obviously time to intersect, looking for the biggest one. Forbes at 37 million, we're going to remove it from the first, put it into the second, and we're probably still going to be a little bit too big. Yep, 2 million, so let's find another one. Another one to intersect, and it's going to be this 11 million person one, Wall Street Journal. Okay, and we're down to 640,000, and we can even try to intersect one more time, and if we can, it's going to be a really great audience. Let's try Wired Magazine. And we're now at 180,000 people, and this is going to be a great audience for you. You've got 3 different intersects here, and this audience tells you that 1 out of 180,000 people like Wired Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, and at least one of these other tech-related magazines. So you have 4 different magazines that this person likes. Okay, this is not a casual business magazine reader. This is a definite person that is going to fall into that potential customer group of magazine readers inside the entrepreneurship niche. Okay, so this is going to be a great one for you, I think, because of the fact that we have 3 different intersect levels on here. So I'm going to exit out of here. We'll build another one. This is the first interest group for you. Okay, and checking out over here, might as well build the online magazines one because it was very easy, right? They put it right in front of our face. And the reason I didn't put TechCrunch and I didn't put Mashable or VentureBeat in the first one, or TechRadar or Business Insider or Gizmodo or any of these types of things is because they didn't have printed magazines, right? Wired has that magazine, right? Lifehacker does not have a magazine, and Engadget doesn't have a magazine, but these are very relevant. All Things Digital, The Next Web, right? These are great websites that have to do with entrepreneurship, okay? And again, keeping our eyes open, here's Techstars and Y Combinator, also groups, okay? So Techstars, Y Combinator, okay? And if you don't know what those are basically incubators for startups, okay? So anyone who likes those will definitely be inside the entrepreneur niche, okay? Hacker News is another one of these online non-printed magazines, so online magazines. Okay. GigaOM, same. Okay, Pando Daily, the same. Okay, and this gives me another idea. Excel Partners. So these would be venture capitalists. Okay, any entrepreneur definitely has to pay attention to what venture capitalists are doing. And we have Excel Partners here, and there's other ones as well that we can find. So, okay. So that's good enough over here. We have all of these non-printed magazines, and now we're going to do, same thing we've been doing every time, intersecting, finding the next biggest one, TechCrunch. Okay, that's bringing us down to 470,000. So there we go. One intersect got us down to size. So to be inside this 470,000 person audience, you need to like TechCrunch, and you need to also like one of these other tech-related non-printed magazines. Okay, so those are two very straightforward interest groups for you right there. I think this is going to be really powerful, and I wasn't sure that this would even be available. But Y Combinator, that's the right one. Okay, Techstars, 500 startups, and looks like that's it. So you see over here, Sequoia Capital, that's another venture capitalist. That's a good one. Okay. It doesn't look like there are any other incubators here. There really aren't any other huge ones. But here's another one that I just thought of. Well, here's another venture capitalist, Andreessen Horowitz. But how about this? Venture capitalist celebrities. And I mean that in the tech world. Dave McClure is a celebrity in the tech world. Mark Andreessen, Elon Musk, obviously those are as well, right? So that could be Dave McClure, Elon Musk, Mark Andreessen. These are celebrities inside the tech space, okay, the entrepreneur space. So these would be great as well, okay? And Jamar says, Forbes can fall under many interest groups. How do you decide which interest group to place it in? It's really your choice. It doesn't matter. As long as it's similar, it's going to be fine. But the key is just pick one and don't pick multiple, okay? Let me do a quick thing, tech incubators. See what else is out there. I don't think SoCal Tech will be on there. Amplify LA, I don't think that's on there either. No. Techstars, Y Combinator, those are really the biggest ones. Okay, so that's not even worth it. I believe that's it. Is there a reason I'm targeting females? Yes, because I messed up and I forgot to change it. I shouldn't be targeting females over here. So there we go. Now we're at 460,000. So in fact, those audience intersects from before would probably be able to be even intersected a little bit further because I forgot to remove this woman thing. Okay, so Logan, make note of that. Okay, that shouldn't have been women. So those numbers would be a little bit bigger on that TechCrunch example. You'd probably be able to do another intersect. Okay, but over here, 460,000. These are the most popular incubators. I don't think you need to intersect at all. Okay, 460,000. Anyone who's inside here, no one likes any of these things unless they're directly related to the entrepreneur niche. No one's going to like Mark Andreessen and Dave McClure unless they're entrepreneurs. No one's going to like these venture capitalist firms unless they're entrepreneurs, right? No one's going to go to an event like Startup Weekend unless they're an entrepreneur. Okay, so you have multiple interest groups you can build here. Very passionate. Also, I would say probably a very competitive space. But these are definitely, this is your third interest group, and you could build, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at the very least, 8, at the very minimum, 7 to 8 interest groups. I think you could even find more. So like I said, that's a sign of a very healthy niche. So I know we're way over time. That's okay. I did everyone's who's here. So we did all 10. So that's pretty awesome, I think. So now I'm going to do question and answer, guys. Let's just leverage this. Again, this is still recording. You're going to get the full recording. You're also going to get this PDF cheat sheet. I'll be sending that to you hopefully by end of day today. But what else? What other questions do you guys have? And Logan already gives me the crazy 8s. I really appreciate that. Thanks so much. I hope that it was very worthwhile for everyone. And this is only the second time I did it, so I got the timing a little bit off. It took a little bit longer than I thought. But definitely, I think we got some great targeting out there for you guys. Okay, let me see these questions now, guys. All right. What do you think about Ad Espresso? I don't really know much about it. I don't use it. I can move just as fast in Power Editor. I'm mostly just kind of, I don't want to learn anything new, and I don't want to teach anything new to my my assistant and stuff like that. So I don't really have much of experience with Ad Espresso, so I couldn't really tell you. I do know that the feature that you're talking about in terms of showing the interest is powerful. I basically replicate that exact thing by doing the interest grouping. So kind of the same end result. Once you find a winner, is that when you would broaden up the audience by only having 2 interests? So yeah, when I find a winner, it's not. I want to run through the entire audience before I remove any intersects. Okay, so let's say you have a 3-level intersect and it's 100,000 people. Well, once the ad stops showing to new people, and you find that out by looking at the reach and the frequency, the reach will stay the same, but the frequency will go up. That's when you would want to undo that intersect, but only after the fact, only after you had run through the entire audience. How would I recommend doing video ads? The easiest way is to just basically take the photo mock-ups of your product, like let's say you're doing a t-shirt or whatever, take different mock-ups like different colors or different styles in terms of like hoodies and t-shirts, and just create a video slideshow ad. All you need is 3 images to create that video slideshow ad inside of your Facebook ads video platform underneath the video view ad objective. Is it better to use the raw website link, or should we go with the shortener like Bitly or Google? I like using shortener just because it's pretty. Okay. I just think it's a little ugly to do the long URLs on Shopify. I've been targeting people who follow Tai Lopez and Gary Vaynerchuk. It hasn't been working too well. I think that the audiences that we built today would be way more targeted than people who like Tai Lopez or Gary Vaynerchuk, unless you're doing intersecting. Okay, if you could intersect those celebrities, that would make sense. But those guys have pretty broad reaches right now, so they're also like everyone and everyone is targeting those two for anything related to entrepreneurship. So you're probably also feeling kind of just that there's a lot of competition to those specific interests. So if you do the interest group strategy, you could have, especially when you do intersecting, you kind of create unique audiences that aren't necessarily being tapped into directly because you're building that unique intersect of multiple interests. Website conversion optimized for purchase. That's what I prefer to do. Shopify doesn't do a good job with capturing UTM. Google Analytics is going to be your best bet for capturing UTM. It's actually a Facebook issue as well. Sometimes they just strip the variables depending on how the URL gets clicked. It's very weird. No one exactly understands why, unfortunately. Frequency of how much to start unflexing. It's not about what number frequency. It's about that the frequency is going to go up and the reach doesn't. So really at that point is when you can do it. And that could be at 2, it could be at 20. It really depends on your audience. But you'll find whatever number that is, the reach will literally just every day will be exactly the same. What's the way to display 1200 by 1200 post? In other words, should you be using borders and calls to action? I use insanely simple ad types. Okay, I think everything should be, and this really depends on your product, but I'm mostly focused on t-shirts, and this is my t-shirt ad right here. And you can see it's incredibly simple. Okay, you don't need to sell people on the t-shirt. Everyone knows what a t-shirt is. You just need to sell them on the design. So this is a very, very basic thing. How do you consider a successful test? All I need to do is find one sale. Okay, when we're doing the niche testing strategy that I outlined at the beginning of this class, the only thing that matters after your 5-day period is did your interest group generate a sale or not. Can you share on how to scale? That's something that I keep behind the paywall inside my t-shirt bootcamp. It's probably one of the most important parts of the bootcamp, so that is definitely something that I kind of keep private, unfortunately. Could you explain what designs you should make for each interest group? How are they different? Well, the products really don't matter. You're going to have products are going to be separate from interest grouping. It doesn't matter. If you want to do t-shirts, you're going to have 3 separate designs. If you want to do drop shipping, you're going to have 3 different products. The bottom line is you want to test different products only for the sake of you don't want to basically ruin your test. Let's say you have a t-shirt that no one will ever buy no matter what. Even if you pay people to buy it, they still wouldn't. Just because it sucks or for whatever reason. You don't want that to really kind of influence the testing results on your other ads. Okay? So it's not about the types of products. It's just about having different products. What's the best day to run a specific ad? I schedule all my ads to start on Wednesdays. Okay, I really like Wednesdays. The reason being is I give it a couple days to optimize, and then hopefully, if it works, I should be able to scale up on the weekend. And the weekend is where you make all of your sales, or at least where I make the most of my sales. What do you think would be better while doing flex targeting? Put all the interests in one box and then create a narrow box further? Yes, that's the way that I absolutely love doing it. I want to only intersect just one group. So you start with all of them in one box, and then you add them one at a time. Okay, you don't want to be. You only want to flex target within one group. Do you always set an ad set to be both genders and full age group? Absolutely. I'll never make any assumptions on any of my ads. I'll never make any assumptions on any of my audiences until I have months worth of data. Okay, and I said months. I did not say days. I did not say weeks. I'd not say 1 or 2 campaigns, right? If I have months worth of data, then I'll go and do age group and gender breakdown, but I would never do that at the start. I wouldn't even do that even inside the first month. Do I only do t-shirts? No, I do t-shirts and dropship products from AliExpress. How much time should we give Facebook before running an ad? You could just launch. I don't. It doesn't matter. You could just have it launch immediately. It doesn't really matter. If you launch an ad, let's say at 12 o'clock p.m., then you will basically spend half of your ad budget. So they will prorate that first day. After 4 days of running ads, I have high engagement, some clicks, but no sales. How can I determine what needs to be improved? So there's basically a couple different scenarios, and I should just put a video on my YouTube about this. If you have high engagement but no clicks, then you have your targeting right, but the product is not, it's just not demanded. If you have no engagement and no clicks, then your product is wrong. And if you have high engagement and high clicks, then something's wrong with your website, like the shipping is too high, or there's something broken, or there's something that's really stopping them from feeling trustworthy, okay? Those are really the only 3 scenarios that you're gonna get. So again, that's high engagement, high sales, something's wrong with your website. High engagement, no sales, the product is wrong. Low engagement, low sales, the targeting is wrong, okay? Keep it simple. I mean, those are really the only 3 scenarios that you're gonna find. If you have a funnel software such as ClickFunnels, can you run Facebook ads straight to that link? Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, the page that you signed up for this course was a ClickFunnels page, and I run paid traffic to that, direct to that funnel page. Linear funnels, to be honest, I've only been doing it for about 2 weeks, so I wouldn't say I'm an expert on it yet. But you could also link directly. I mean, you're supposed to link directly to the start of the funnel on your linear funnels page. So keep in mind on your ads, you're always going to be linking to a product. You're never going to link to like a home page. How do you set up on the reporting matrices? I'm not sure what you mean. I do some really crazy reporting only because I'm very anal about wanting to have all the numbers in there. How do you find out which interests are performing best? You'll never know what individual interests are performing best through Power Editor or Ads Manager, and it doesn't even matter because it's not about the interest that makes that work. It's about the interest groups. Okay, the interest groups kind of become a new form of targeting because of the intersection. They're actually, when you think about it, intersected interest groups become basically their own interest, and it's a unique interest, one that probably only you're hitting because of the way that you intersect. Okay, other people can intersect in different ways. Rakesh says, really awesome training. I'm glad you thought so. Guys, I'll take maybe 2 or 3 more questions, and then I'll get to processing this video. What do you look at on the ads reports for analysis? I think you should really keep it insanely simple, okay? The only thing that matters after your testing period is sales, okay? Now, there are other indications of success, for example, CPM, and that's cost per 1,000 impressions. If you could find an ad between $5 and $10, that's typically a healthy CPM, but let me stress that these are only indications, okay? So you could have a CPM of $1, you could have a click-through rate of 5%, and if you make 0 sales, the ad still deserves to be cut after 5 days, okay? So don't really get wrapped up, don't fall in love with metrics. The only metric to fall in love with is sales. Do you upsell on every product? No, not every product, but I think on most products I have an upsell on there. Any product that is selling well, absolutely, I'll put multiple upsells on there. I like using Boost Sales to do the upselling. That's I think it's like a $30 app per month. Boost Sales, I really like that one. In the first 5 days of running an ad and you don't get any sales on any of the ad sets, do you try a different interest group? I would only try a product maximum 2 different times. So I would try a second interest group, but I wouldn't try any further than that. Okay, if you're going to test a product twice, that's more than enough. Okay, if you're not going to make sales on 2 tries, you're not going to make sales on 20 tries. So I think that it's very important to limit the amount of tests, because the benefit of that testing process that I laid out over here is that you're going to cap this right here. This is only $200 of testing, and you're going to get a ton of information. Okay, so you're capping your test at $200, but you're basically figuring out everything that you need to know about the niche. So you don't need to do product number 1 3 or 4 or 5 times. Just do it 2 times max. Okay, and it's really not about the product that you're testing. It's more about this right here. Okay, it's more about testing the interest group twice. You see, tested once over here, and then tested twice over here. It's all about interest group testing, not really product testing. Products are a dime a dozen. Okay, you can go to AliExpress and add 10 million products to your store right now, so that's not really a huge deal. My ad managers are reporting a conversion but no sales. That's because conversions are more than just sales. If you hover your mouse over that conversion number, you'll see exactly what it is: add to cart, page view, or purchase. So it's more than just purchasing. Does Facebook algorithm treat posts and likes and shares more favorably? No. Likes and shares, they don't really matter. Now, your ad, if you get a high click-through rate on your ad will get shown more often and probably for a cheaper target, but it's not going to be really that effective for you. Okay, you really, the targeting is going to make the most out of it there. Okay, can I target grandmas like I do moms? No, there is no grandma demographic, unfortunately. So basically what people do for grandmas is they'll pick parents and then they'll set an age of like 50 plus. Not always accurate all the time. Okay, I'll take about just the rest of these questions, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. What do you recommend, slideshows or actual videos? I recommend slideshows because they're just way easier to do. Okay, you don't need to go and mess around with Premiere or any of those type of things. So I would absolutely go with slideshow videos. What's your best Facebook tip? Have a 150% focus on one niche. Okay, master everything in the niche. Understand every single interest and interest group there is in the niche. Understand everything about every potential buyer there is in the niche. Live inside the niche. Become an expert. Speak the language. Talk the talk. Walk the walk. The quicker you can become an expert on the niche, the quicker you're going to be able to sell to these people. Okay, so that is definitely my number one niche. Okay, last question here. Should I get cheap likes and comments from India, Kenya, etc.? Absolutely not. No, no shot, no way. Okay, your fan page likes are pretty much worthless. Okay, no one really judges on it, and I've sold hundreds of products, if not thousands of products, from fan pages that literally started with 0 fans and didn't even have a cover image. Okay, so don't worry about your fan page. Don't worry about getting likes or comments from India. That they're not only are they worthless, I think that they detract from your page. Because I mean, it's very easy to see who has a fake store or not. Okay, guys. So hopefully this was really helpful for you guys. I'm going to stop the recording now, and I'm going to process this video and send it off to you guys through the email that you guys sent with. I'll also send that PDF that is on the screen right now. And like I said, this is the second one that we've ever done here, so it did definitely go a little bit longer than I thought. So thanks for sticking with me. We did about 2.5 hours, so that's pretty awesome. What do you guys think? I mean, was this worthwhile? Was it missing something that you were thinking? Was it not what you were thinking? Give me some feedback on here, and so I can kind of improve this. I think I'll probably do this a little bit more. And definitely, if you enjoyed this, it would be a huge help for me if you could post in my free group, Senior Shopify Mastermind, kind of just giving a little testimonial or a little note or whatever, just to kind of provide some feedback on this. Because like I said, this is a brand new offering. This is only the second time I've ever done this. So here's my free group. I'm sure you guys are in this group anyway, since this is where I posted the offer. So if you could post a little testimonial, that would be really awesome, and that'd be great. Logan says, thank you so much, Justin. Yes, it was just a bit long. Yeah, definitely a little bit longer than I had wanted. Your money as always. You've made me a customer for life. Awesome. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Made me think about ads in a totally different way. That's great. I think this is definitely the way that you're going to want to really learn. You're awesome in a non-romantic way. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cool. So, I'm going to stop the recording now, and